Illuminati coming. Yeah, Illuminati coming. You know you want it. This Illuminati coming.
Learn about the full history of the Bavarian Illuminati. Adam Weishaupt, Alumbrados, Jesuits, Rosicrucians, Freemasons, and more. From the 18th century to modern day, we expose it all. That's right, it's the Illuminati comic from Donut and Paranoid American. Get yours now at IlluminatiComic.com.
I wanna be rich, but not Seth rich. Know too much, get left in the ditch. CIA scratches, its clicks getting itch. Yeah, I wanna be rich, but not Seth rich. I wanna be rich, but not Seth rich. Wiki leaking, now you're thrown into a ditch. You wish the simulation had glitch. You wanna be rich, but not Seth rich. I wanna be rich, but not Seth rich. Know too much, get left in the ditch. CIA scratches, its clicks getting itch. Yeah, I wanna be rich, but not Seth rich. I wanna be rich, but not Seth rich. Wiki leaking, now you're thrown into a ditch. You wish the simulation had glitch. You wanna be rich, but not Seth rich.
I wanna be rich, but not Seth rich. Wiki leaking out, you dump into a ditch. You wish the simulation had a glitch. You wanna be rich, but not Seth rich. I wanna be rich, but not Seth rich.
Energy. Ain't nobody wanna step to me. If you wanna bring that drama, I'll whoop that ass like Michael Obama. Yeah, I got that big D energy. Ain't nobody wanna step to me. And if you really wanna bring that drama, I'll whoop that ass like Michael Obama.
No, Michelle is a
I'm sorry, she's a what?
transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh. It's okay.
I gotta have that big like a llama. I whip that thing out like Michael Obama.
We already had it with
I got that
Obama,
big
so
energy.
let's just calm down.
Nobody wanna step to me. And if you really wanna bring that drama, I'll whip that ass like Michael Obama. I'm a girl, I'm a girl. 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 I'm a girl, I'm a whip the thing out like Michael Obama. I got that big energy. Ain't nobody wanna step back me. And if you really wanna bring that drama, I'll whip that ass like Michael Obama. Ain't got that clip, bitch. Hung like a llama. I'll whip that dick out like Michael Obama.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Don't call me, I'll call you. Don't call me, I'll call you. Money stacking up, I got things to do. Getting rich, making moves, that's the cruise. Phone no silent, I ain't hearing you. Don't call me, I'll call you. Paper chasing, that's what I'm into. Busy running, gotta keep it true. Don't call me, I'll call you. I'm on the go, you know the vibe, with the in the whip, I'm taking a ride. You hitting my line, I'm letting it slide. I got the hustlers nationwide. Running machine, counting it fast. Blowing my phone, I'm chasing a bag. Hanging on top of the chick in the chat. I'm on a mission, I'm doing the math. Ice on my wrist, it's looking like snow. Diamonds so cold, they hit it like whoa. Don't need distractions, I'm stacking the dough. When I'm young, you know I let you know. Don't call me, I'll call you. Money stacking up, I got things to do. Getting licks, making moves, that's the cruise. Phone on solid, I ain't hearing you. Don't call me, I'll call you. Paper chasing, that's what I'm into. Busy grounding, gotta keep it true. Don't call me, I'll call you. Ring, but I ain't gon' pick up. Layla, hates her, hotties. Oh yeah, Layla, she hates her hotties. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, she hates the hotties. Oh yeah. She hates the hotties. Oh yeah.
Britney Spears, can we be saved? God, why is Satan controlling the universe?
The world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunning linguists, good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically, good guys. Conspiracies, sex, cults, Jamaicans, it's okay to change your thinking, good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys. The world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunning linguists, good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically, good guys. Conspiracies, sex, cults, Jamaicans, it's okay to change your thinking, good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys.
Big up yourselves and welcome back to another episode of the Secret Society of Good Guys. As always, we are your good guys, a little late but here, so make sure you hit the like and subscribe because we promise to be more entertaining than that boxing fight that you just watched. Big up yourselves. Hey, good guys.
Hey, what's up?
So, just to announce it, spoiler alert: Jake Paul won the race war.
Oh my gosh, really?
there.
White people win. The end.
No way. Jake Paul won.
I thought
By
that was what it
decision.
was all about,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
You know what's funny? I saw a post of this guy posting 2 days before the fucking fight and asking Google who won the fight. And it said that Jake Paul won the fight 2 days before he won and that he would win by decision.
Yeah, I feel like that was a pretty safe bet. Like
Yeah.
Jake Paul by decision. Yeah. He was the favorite going into it. He's the younger guy. They say the last thing to go is power. And you could see Mike chasing him with like a big, iron fist trying to land that one strike. And he did in the first round once. But other than that,
Yeah, he won the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
I'm shocked. I didn't watch a thing, but I swear I said, and I kept saying it, Jake is going to die. Jake is going to get killed. Jake, you're dead. You're a dead
You
man.
gotta have balls to get in the ring with Mike Tyson. I don't care how old the
Seriously.
motherfucker is. Like that.
I don't know, you guys. I hate to say this, but Mike Tyson's kind of an overrated fucking fighter.
No, he's just crazy. That's all. Like
He's overrated. Anytime he ever gone against somebody that actually was a great fighter, he lost.
I don't know. His
He had a
punches,
like
man.
fluffed record. He was scary. Everybody liked Iron Mike because he came in the all black on black. And
what
but
it is.
after Cuss died, he was never anything. And he doesn't compete with some of the like actual. He's no Muhammad Ali.
Oh, he's not. No, he's not.
Like he's not even a Floyd Mayweather. Like people like
No.
boxing. Like I fucking love Iron Mike, and I'm glad he got a $20 million paycheck. It was pretty safe bet for him to
That's
go
why I
in
did
there
it.
against a kid who's never really finished anyone except like 2 over the hill UFC fighters. But I mean, a lot of guys that I knew in gyms, they were like, Mike can barely walk. This is wild that he's taking a boxing fight.
It is wild. But the whole like my point was that, you know, he bit Evander Holyfield's ear. So he's fucking nuts.
My point is, I know that he punches like a fucking steel hammer. Like a punch, like if it were me, like I'd probably feel that 3 lifetimes away, that punch. Like through my other lifetimes, like I'll feel it. You know? that's how I viewed it. I was like, man, Jake is gonna die. But
I was
I'm wrong.
actually surprised at weigh-ins and stuff how thick Jake looks now.
Yeah.
Like he's taken some time. It's all his first fights. It seems like he's gone up in weight, but all his first fights were against like 170-pound MMA fighters. So it's like he always looked bigger to them, but he was actually broad back with Tyson in that ring. I mean, they probably were 220. I have no idea. I didn't actually see. I don't care about the weight at the weigh-ins. I just want to watch him square off.
What was up with the whole him mooning all of Netflix watchers? What was up with that shit? It was like, hello.
I thought actually Tyson, it was going to be like a sacrifice of Tyson in some way, but I thought it was interesting because one thing about Netflix that I always put on Netflix is they Tiger King us over and over again. They octopus teacher us. They give us this, they're the water cooler show. If something's on there, it's the only thing it seems that has made it through the zeitgeist that we're all going to watch together. And so I thought, in the Tiger King of it all, the guy who had the original OG face tattoo before anybody else got a face tattoo, they thought fucking Mike was crazy because he got the tiger stripes right here. So I thought, like, in the Tiger King of it all, they're either gonna crown him or kill him. But a walkaway decision seems like a power vacuum somewhere. Like all of a sudden, Netflix wanted to prove they could carry professional sports because they're actually up for the bid to get the UFC contract because UFC is up for a new contract with ESPN, and they couldn't carry a good stream for shit.
No, it was
I
horrible.
feel like they were the real loser. Like out of everyone in this fight, Netflix lost the most.
Period. That was annoying.
Netflix. Newflix. Nutflix. They should have one with nuts laying over it called Nutflix.
Netflix, you're on notice.
Netflix, you're on notice.
You're fired.
Speaking of movies and watching movies, this episode was The Mask because Layla and I were texting, or Mask, and we were talking about the movie The Saint with Val Kilmer and how much of our political theater right now where people are like, oh, it's clones or it's this or it's that. It's just masks. Like it's a whole bunch of masks. And so I thought that was, and we're all wearing masks all the time, depending on the job you're LARPing or, the company you're keeping. So it is really nice to feel like we can secret society of good guys. And I feel like I have mask off here.
Yeah.
And it all started with Script Keeper, this guy that I follow on TikTok, and he's been a Trumper for
getting that microphone,
sorry.
voice.
Yeah, sorry guys, can you hear me?
Perfect.
Okay.
There we go.
Hi, chat. I forgot you were here too. It's been so long since I've seen the good guys.
Yeah. What was I saying? Script Keeper. I follow Script Keeper, and he's like a forever Trumper. He loves Trump. I mean, he's all about the, 17 and all of it. And he posted this very interesting post that, like, every time we talk about this whole,
Did you put it up on your
no,
page? Oh, okay.
I posted on my story. It's on my story. You can show everybody.
Let me see if I can find it.
But it just like blew my mind, like the connection with Madonna, with Donald Trump, with Val Kilmer, and who else was in that picture? Someone else.
The world's sexiest guy right now. I don't know what his
I
name
forgot
is.
his fucking
Dr.
name.
Fauci?
No, I forgot his fucking name. Damn it. But anyway, he's in this picture, and it's like the way he ties it all. It's all a fucking movie, and Trump talks about it all the time. This is very interesting.
Oopsie, that's not what we wanted to show. Let's just let that. Oh no!
That
this
one.
video. Let me
Yeah.
click on it and see post.
It's just incredible. Oh, there you go, Donald Trump. Yes. And they zoom into that picture for some reason. I'm trying to figure out who those two characters are. And then Val Kilmer, I'm like, dude, we brought Val Kilmer up on the show many times before, but that movie, The Saint, it's all about direct energy weapons, or not direct energy weapons, free energy. The whole Tesla of it all. So they show you that in that movie and how countries try to fight for this technology. Russia, hence Russia, and all the masks that are involved, like Chaney said, and that's what we're watching. It's a fucking movie, and it's showing it to you, like it is a movie. Donald Trump says it. Central casting. He has a gap like me. How cute.
I had a gap like you too.
Look at this.
Before I got veneers.
I gotta watch this.
Is this from Top Secret?
Top secret. I know that's even direct energy weapon. That's what I was telling Layla about today. It was like blowing my mind. And then re-seeing JFK Jr. again, you know about all these people like that he's dated. And then it's like they don't show Daryl Hannah, which I find interesting. And that look forward thing that they're all doing there, to not look at each other, like the obvious look forward to, so as not to make too much contact in the crowd. Super interesting.
It really much is. Did that make sense? Really much is.
Real Genius. That was another one. Val Kilmer's in a lot of great movies.
He really is. He's a great actor. I don't care what
Willow.
anyone says.
Hi, everyone hanging out. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe, or follow us on Rumble. YouTube's probably not long for the world, but it doesn't hurt either. Layla is rolling up a blunt.
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay. I thought that was that noise.
It is. I'm repacking my vape pipe.
And in case you guys didn't know, Layla vapes and twerks. So
Yeah. Oh my
be a
God.
What a Jezebel.
Can we tell everybody what has happened with Thomas and Donut and how someone brought us into the conversation for no fucking reason?
Okay, before all this happens, real quick to the audience, and it might take them a couple minutes to answer. Does everybody sound like they're even sound for you tonight? Do I need to turn anyone up or anyone down?
Check,
me,
check.
me.
I turn
Mic
myself
check.
up.
Unique New York. Syphilis.
Shit, fuck, piss.
A
Nice.
whale's
Son of a
vagina.
bitch.
Can you hear me better now?
Shit, fuck, piss,
I
piss.
know.
That's my Tourette.
I think we passed the sound check.
All right, everybody's good. Sound check, okay.
Okay.
What were you gonna do, Layla? You were gonna play the guitar? Can you
Who?
imagine if she just
Who?
Who?
you weren't you gonna say something? Wasn't somebody about to say something and we
yeah.
all mic
Oh,
check
we're
real quick?
gonna
I wanted
go
to tell
expand on the
Thomas-
twerking and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, what happened?
Okay, so apparently someone made a video, Truth Seeker, I
First,
believe his name
before
is.
True Seeker, congratulations to Thomas and Donut.
Yes.
Everything's going good. You want to talk about that real quick? Because
Oh,
you guys have been
Let's-
busting your
let's
fucking
start
ass.
with the celebration and the success and the people that are actually creating content and not just regurgitating content. So Donut and I launched our Illuminati comic on Monday, and within 3 minutes, it got 100% funded.
Oh my
By
gosh,
the end
that's
of the
amazing.
day, it hit 15 grand, and as of today, it's raised over $22,000 for our little
Hooray.
Illuminati comic. So
Congrats.
resounding success. If you want to grab a copy, it's only going to be around until the first week of December. So you can go to illuminaticomic.com and grab a copy, and you can also check me and Donut out every other night live at 11 p.m. Eastern-ish, around there. And we've been going live every single night and doing Illuminati news and pumping the comic.
Yeah, they have. And it's pretty great stuff that they're putting out there. Like, I go in there and just watch sometimes, and it's like, I
Do you
like
think
what you're
there's
doing.
any opportunity that, like with the amount of money you raise, that maybe we get an Illuminati comic cartoon?
I mean, that's kind of what we're doing with Chaos Twins. Sam's did really well too, and we're gonna end up making a few 30 to maybe 90-second max little animated shorts as kind of
Nice.
examples of here's what an animated version of this could look like. And I know Donut has been really adamant about wanting to take the comic artwork that we got now and animating it and turning it into like a little documentary or something about Illuminati. So
Dope.
it's all on the table. Although I mean, I've done animation for over a decade, and I got a feeling that the cost to do that would be still more than what we've raised so far. But we can definitely do a few little panels and little animatics and stuff to sample that. That would almost be its own crowdfunding campaign of like, okay, now let's do Illuminati, the comic, the movie.
I
Nice.
think this is how it works. Like, if Illuminati comic was a crypto selling in 3 minutes, you minted a coin in 3 minutes?
Right.
That
Yeah.
is unheard of. And so I just think it's because the quality of content that you and Donut have both been putting out forever, people know it's not going to be like schlim slam. You're not just here in the night. Like, you know, it's going to be thought out. It's going to be thought provoking, and it'll also be funny. And so I think, yeah, that's so awesome. So if you guys haven't already, make sure you get on board with that. There's even a yacht club member. If any of you maybe made extra money in crypto today, you maybe can become a yacht club member.
That's what you
Over.
pretty much need to spend your money on if you're making money. You need to be covered of the Illuminati Yacht Club. Otherwise, what are you even doing with your money?
That's what
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's also important for people that are digitally sound with crypto. You have to keep supporting the artists that do the art, because all the greatest NFTs come from the artists. The artists eventually have to put stuff on it. And so all the artists have to keep creating the art to keep expanding what the computer is capable of doing. So yeah, make sure you go and support Illuminati comic. And I think that's fucking awesome. Now
we can get into the and let me just preface with
let me get my teacup.
The name is Attention Seeker. There's no
Attention
truth
Ooh,
involved.
I love it.
I
just
like
attention
that. That's the
seeker.
correct name for this individual. And
He
apparently,
was butthurt about Donut not or ignoring him. So it's definitely an
There's
attention
so much
seeking.
behind the scenes with this. It's kind of
I bet.
Yeah,
Bet. That was the
Chaney
small dick energy.
Chaney has seen a little bit of this, but basically this attention seeker character has a very consistent MO. Everyone that I know that has ever done shows with them or contact it's the exact same story over and over and over again. He'll reach out. If you don't get back to him, God forbid if you have a life and you don't get back within like 2 hours, or let alone like a day, if you don't get back within a day, he'll start messaging everyone you know and being like, hey, is Thomas mad at me? Is Donut mad at me? Can you reach out and make sure no one's mad? I want to be friends with everyone. And then finally you'll get back.
God, I cannot with people like that.
And if you don't respond quick enough, then he'll put you on blast. You're a shill. You're controlled up. Here's a picture of you scratching your eye or whatever. And then he's got a pretty virulent crowd that'll all just jump on like, I knew it. I knew they were a shill since day one. But then what'll happen is a day will go by and he'll send emails out apologizing to everyone. Oh, I'm so sorry. I won't let this happen again. I want to be friends again. And then if you don't respond to that one, then he'll just republish all the same. And it's not like this just happened once. This has happened like 5 or 6 times to each person I know. I don't want to start naming names, but all the people that you know, this has happened to from Attention Seeker.
I want to
multiple times
know.
over the last year.
We got dragged into this though. I
Oh, it
don't
was
know
great.
how we got dragged into this, but then we were
We
labeled
did?
as witches.
Yes.
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 I didn't see
Oh,
any
me
of
and
it. You guys,
me
I'm
and
so
Layla
out of it. Is
hopped
this when
in.
I was? You guys, wait. Is this was when I was in Haiti
Yes.
practicing hoodoo?
It was like the
Yeah.
day you went to Haiti, it all blew up. Yeah.
So
Bruh.
Layla and I jump in because he goes live. He does his live 20-minute video talking about paranoid
He
Americans and
blocked me.
Freemason. Oh
Motherfucker
my gosh,
blocked
blah, blah,
me.
blah,
Super,
self-admitting. And I was
super
like,
secret.
so yeah, I was like, wow, Thomas, I had no idea, when you're in full regalia on Secret Society of Good Guys, and then all of a sudden people are like, I heard all the girls are witches and blah, 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 blah. Like, yeah.
And then finally I was like,
So
yeah,
in
and
the
yeah,
chat,
you know
Layla and I
what?
jump
Fine.
in.
I'm a fucking witch. So be it. You think I'm a fucking witch? I'll fucking hex you. Beware.
Yeah, this girl's all,
Beware, bitch.
Layla
Oh, your magic
vapes and
doesn't
twerks.
work.
I was like, when does Layla ever twerked? I think she's probably talking about me, probably
Never.
because my Instagram, because my ass being out or whatever, because I am a bodybuilder. But
Oh, it could be me.
Honestly,
oh, do you
yo,
twerk, Chaney?
I'm
I
gonna say
totally,
this
you
though.
guys, I'm an underrated. You would not guess. Like the three of us, if we were stocks and you had to gamble on what one of us could dance the best, I would bet my money on myself. Like I'm a hidden good dancer.
I'm a good
That's
dancer
awesome.
too.
It's like the things I know how to do, no one would guess looking at me. Like it's not in my
Why didn't we
character.
go out and go dancing? We totally should have done
I
that.
wanted to.
It's the
I
same
wanted
as
to get
horseback
fucked up
riding.
that night, but
I'm
it's
a
okay.
really great horseback rider. You would never guess. It's not in my character. You know what? Here's another one. I mean, really, you guys. I've like always rode with DJT. Like that's not supposed to be in my character.
Oh, and one of the comments somebody put on X was they thought that we were military ops.
Yeah. That we worked for the military
I
and
mean,
that we
kind
were
of
a
true.
psyop. And I'm just like, yo. And by the way, for the bitch who called us witches, witch, a witch is literally just being aware and knowing and knowledgeable about things. That's all it really means. And that's why they burn those women. It doesn't mean like, oh, some hoodoo voodoo thing. It could just be a
It's a
knowing
woman
woman.
who speaks up. And
Yeah.
and that's what cracked me up too. She said, I'm protected, I have Jesus and more. So I had to I'm in the chat. I'm like, what's more than Jesus? I was like, you're saying that there's more than Christ? You fucking hypocrite.
Just
I
keep
didn't say
bringing on the
fucking, but
hate. I love it. We use it as ammunition. I love it.
Layla's a lean mage or a mage Deline. Or a Magdalene.
I'm something. I don't know what to call it. You want to call it witch? I don't practice no ritual. I don't do anything hoodoo voodoo. Put herbs together. I cook. Yeah, that's witchy in itself. But to do a spell on anybody intentionally, nah, bruh. We do our spells by natural magic.
I feel like
Word.
every time you write on paper, the reason they tell you to keep a journal or where you see Bart Simpson writing over and over again on the chalkboard something, that is chanting, singing certain
grimoire.
songs, evoking, pledging of allegiance to things. These are all rituals. I always say the most simple one is putting birthday cake candles on and blowing it out, and you're making a cake, usually a round cake, because it's meant to represent the moon goddess. That's all crazy to me.
Well,
Or
that's
like even when people die in a Catholic church, 100% of the time, first thing, sage.
nobody thinks about the birthday cake as a ritual, but I just watched somebody post a video about Mariah Carey, and she's like, they're interviewing her, and she's saying, I don't celebrate birthdays. I call them anniversaries, and like everybody's like, that's so weird, blah blah blah. And I said, no, she just understands how magic works. She ain't trying to be older, so she doesn't acknowledge it. But Prince does the same thing. Like he did go the whole Jehovah's Witness route, but he also said that the birthday cake and the celebration of the birthday ages you.
We mormo. It felt like a dance. We mormo together. But we talk about Mormons or Scientologists or, all the other religions. Like we need to Jehovah Witness dive.
Jehovah Witness is
That's a whole
interesting.
show. I'm
I used to let
interested. You just piqued my rabbit hole. I need to write it down.
girl, I had a Jehovah's Witness
That
who would
sounds
come
like
in
a
to
lesbian
my house like
pickup
once a
line.
week,
You just
every
piqued my
week for
rabbit hole.
years. Because I couldn't send her away. I felt so bad. She was trying to save me. And I'm like, finally, when I put up my Christmas tree, I was like, look, this ain't never going to work. It's like, I'm not going to feel guilty that I'm doing this.
Don't mind the Jevo text in the group chat. That's just for me to look up later. I don't have a pen around me. I just think it's so nice that like
We can get you
Thomas
one.
is so old school Scottish Freemason that he lets the women in.
I really want one. Just like that. I want
They're
one.
Euro. You can get these. They're on eBay all over the place.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to fucking get one. Let's play into it.
Let's do it.
Can is there Eastern Star hats or something?
Can I put Britney Spears on mine with scissors?
Yeah.
I don't see why not. Yeah.
Let's patch them up.
The Eastern Star one would freak people out even more because it's got the pentagram on it.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, even better.
Because when I did the Eastern Star on my background, everybody's like, I don't like the pentagram behind you. And I'm like, it's the Eastern Star symbol.
It represents the 5 heroic women of the Bible. Like, it's all Bible references.
Yo, let's fucking do it. Guys, we're going to do it. And just don't fucking talk shit, all right? Just play along. It's all part of the loosh. Just relax. We're good people.
We're talking about masks today, but that's all kind of some of the thing. It's like all fine if we put on all these other costumes all the time, but you put on that costume.
God forbid.
And
it's like our picture like this.
Yeah, it's just
you
like,
did it again?
I
thought
did it
you
again.
repented for that.
I only shake hands. Like, you should see the way I shake hands. When I shake hands with grown ass older men, I always Masonic handshake them, and I just look them in the eye. Like all the oldest. That's our group symbol.
Yep.
This is actually to repel magic. You know that, right?
Get that shit away.
That's what it really means.
You're all exposing yourselves.
It
You've been exposed.
If you watch The Color Purple, it's anything you've done to me already been done to you. Because you're stopping the energy and turning it all back around on them.
This is like rubber, your glue.
Yeah, it kind of is. But
that's the spell.
Ancient European shit.
That is a spell, isn't it? I'm rubber, your glue. Whatever you say bounces off me and back onto you. Yeah, that's right. It's basically saying abracadabra.
This means something. This means something. What else is there?
And think of how annoying when people say, I know you are, but what am I? Like, eventually you do get heated up. Like, if somebody's like, I know you are, but what am I?
Oh, yeah.
I know you are, but what am I?
Pisses you off.
I know. Yeah, they really do turn the loosh around with those kind of things. That Pee Wee Herman-ness is
Sticks
the
and
one.
stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't work anymore in 2024. Now
it
you
doesn't.
say something to someone and it's literally
It's
a violent
ma'am.
attack. Yeah, you've been assaulted.
It's ma'am. No wait.
It's ma'am.
Ma'am.
Well, if you're an attention seeker, the lack of words might hurt you.
My favorite too is the silence is violence. Like, so now not saying anything is also harming you.
Silence
I
is
had
violence.
to. I'm sorry. I saw the remake of the clip from the
My
Matrix.
poison for the night. Don't look at this. Look how much poison's on this can, and it even has Santa Claus on it. Like, so much. Let me put a spell on it. Let me put a spell on it so it's.
Everyone's
let me
freaking out
make
about
it
the
holy.
Jack
Let me
Black
pray.
Satan movie where like some kid writes a letter to Santa, but he spells it Satan. Jack Black shows up and he's the devil. That's
Holy
also
shit.
being cited as basically the world is gonna end now. Like this Jack Black movie is gonna usher in the Antichrist, I believe.
Like,
he's
it's
already
the
there,
first
right?
devil
Trump?
movie.
I don't believe any of it. Christ is in heaven, man. He's just
Do you
chilling.
think, Thomas? Do you think there's any chance
No, he's chilling.
that when they're shooting the rockets
coming.
up, it goes through a portal?
I think so, yeah, of course.
Like NASA and the SpaceX, like, not in a way that I'm not like poo-pooing. There's something that they're shooting these rockets all around for. Like, it's cargo.
It's like astral sex magic. They're showing all the alien races that we understand the assignment, basically.
I sometimes think that airplanes are just like portaling because it doesn't make sense that this big old hunk of heavy ass metal is flying through the air. And then, so I go back to the World of Warcraft of it all. Like you hop on a griffin and then
That's
you
such
all
a
of a sudden
Navy
arrive
thing to
somewhere else.
say. Sorry. Just kidding.
Very nautical.
Yeah, just kidding. Go on.
There wasn't any more.
Oh,
So
sorry.
that was all.
That was it.
Yep.
I don't know. I think we're in I think it's been a crazy, if you were watching this movie and you just had whatever little glimmer of hope, even if you were a doom and gloom person and you're like, I don't believe in nothing. If you were like, if somebody put a gun to your head and they were like, you have to pick a good guy. Every single person of the good, whoever you picked, if you picked Wonder Woman, if you went with Superman, if you went with Batman, if you went with Aquaman, if you went with whatever superhero you picked in the Hall of Justice, they all just joined forces in the movie. It was like no matter what part of the movie you were paying attention to, if you were just a political nerd, that was happening. If you were just a techie nerd, that part of the superhero was happening. If you were just a libertarian, that part of the superhero was happening. If you were just really anti-Dr. Fauci, that part of the superhero was happening. It was like all these different segments and superheroes were like all pulling the movie together. Like you were watching Game of Thrones and I was over here watching The Sopranos and somebody's watching Boardwalk Empire and somewhere our show's Quentin Tarantino'd and it's like we have a character and we're like, what? This is the same storyline? That's what I feel like happened in the movie in the last while I was gone, like after the election. Like, what's happening?
Like, what did I step into? Like gift after gift after win after win. It's just like, holy shit, Christmas came early.
I'm fucking Charlie Sheen over here.
Oh
With that
man.
tiger blood.
It is. It's so crazy. I'm waiting. I'm like, okay, we're at the week's end. So if they don't false flag us or blue beam us, I feel like we're on these news cycles. It seems like we get false flags on the weekends and then like some good news during the week. Like we're watching a battle happen. But it's funny to me that all these news networks are going bankrupt. Nobody believed. It's like the celebrities, they had no weight at all. All the weight they've always had, the rock stars coming forward and being like, my favorite person is, no one cares. No one cares, Beyonce. Show up in your suit all you want. It did nothing.
I think we're
No talks about
witnessing
your
the
politics.
maybe not the end, but like a decline of the traditional stars. Because in order to be like a music or a movie star, you actually had to basically transplant yourself to Nashville or to LA, or you had to go somewhere. But ever since the Justin Bieber generation, now you can do it all from your own studio in your own house, and you can get your own following and then get yourself into the industry without having to pass through the same gatekeeping. You don't have to go to these specific like geographic regions just in order to get found, which has always been the rule. Like you always had to move to Hollywood if you wanted to be, one of these Hollywood stars. But I think that as that ends, it's also going to end the relevance a little bit of these massive stars that kind of is the small little pool that you're forced to fish from if you consume media.
Yeah,
Like
now
the
it's
next
just
generations, they're gonna have so many options that like Layla might have like 50 of her favorite celebrities, and the three of us won't have heard of any of them because they're just in their own little niche.
yeah.
You don't have to be
It's
one of
like
the 13 bloodlines.
Right, right, yeah, exactly.
yeah, it's like it's now you can be your own thing, your own TV show on your own phone. Like you don't need anybody anymore. Like everyone's kind of becoming, it's almost becoming like everyone's independent, like less control, more, yeah, control through this, but like more independence and less other networks. It could just be you. And you could say the stupidest fucking thing, like very, very demure, ba-da-ba-da, da-da-da, and then instantly, or hot tour and become an instant fucking star.
Can you imagine if Layla doing that all of a sudden, like this week, somebody sends that viral and then we like Layla's off the show because now she's Haktua girl. Like,
Oh, I could do
dude,
it so much better than her, but no, let me not. Let me not. Oh, let me not.
you know what? if it
Slappy
was
tappy,
a
baby.
gamble, like if it was Jake Paul versus like Mike Tyson, I would believe that. I would bet on you.
Yeah.
There's no way she.
Nothing's wrong with a little slappy tappy, you know.
Oh, what
Yes,
is
I
your?
said it on the Secret Society of Good Guys. Call me a whore, call me a bitch, call me whatever you want. It's okay.
Call me a
Witch?
whore, call me a witch, call me a bitch.
That's okay.
That's a song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, it is.
That's what we need. A couple maybe of new songs that it's like
I was just
really.
thinking that too.
I'm
Yeah.
a witch.
And about who? Val Kilmer.
I'm a weirdo.
I want to make a song about Val Kilmer. We could take it so many routes. It'll be cool.
Val Kilmer's great.
Yeah.
He's the one that lost his voice now, right? He can't talk anymore.
This is so crazy. I don't know if did you watch that documentary?
I think
No.
that it was Val Kilmer, right? That's who it was about.
Yeah.
Yeah, he I don't know if it's like Parkinson's or MS or something totally different, and I'm just being an asshole saying either of those things. But he's had some degenerative disease happen to him, or cancer. He could have throat cancer. I don't know. But he even had one of those like robot talking voice things. And he was doing tours because I think he wrote a book. But what if he was just playing that part? Like, what if that is all like an act?
That's what I'm saying.
Kaiser's so saying.
He's a good actor.
I know, like he's Joe Biden.
You never know, bro.
But
I'd vote for Val Kilmer over Joe Biden without question.
It's possible.
That's who's been the president the last 4 years.
Val Kilmer, you're like, oh, Val Kilmer is an awful president.
Dude, I want to go on a dive about Val Kilmer. Where's he from? He looks almost Russian.
You know what is the gayest thing? I bring it up all
What
the
is he?
time. But on Top Gun, when they're in the locker room, which I think Top Gun's just such a gay movie anyway, but when they're in the locker room and he goes like this to Tom Cruise, this is the gayest thing I've ever seen on screen. This. I'm like, when he does that to another man, it may, like, even as a child, I was like, gay.
What is going
Have you ever
on?
seen the Quentin Tarantino breakdown of Top Gun, where he basically explains that the entire premise of Top Gun is that Iceman is trying to convince Tom Cruise to be gay, and Tom Cruise's girlfriend is trying to convince him to be straight, and that like the entire movie is about Tom
Sexual
Cruise's
tension.
struggle between whether he wants to publicly identify as straight or gay.
Tom Cruise is a pescatarian. He likes to fuck fish. Okay? That is the conspiracy theory floating around TikTok, that he's a fish fucker. What kind of fish? I don't know. Maybe mermaids.
I feel like he definitely cannot have children, and Siri Cruz is not his child.
Probably has a micro penis.
It makes
Like a
me
Michael
crazy.
Jackson kind of situation, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Something's up with it. Like, you know, when people are like transvestigation, Tom Cruise, like throw that in there. Attention seeker, always, that seems to be his big thing, is no matter who it is, you guys, no matter the thing. And if you put me, Abbie, and Layla standing next to each other, there couldn't be three women with more different body shapes than us. Just like probably our arms to our gap in our eyes to our
And my
like all the
teeth.
things, like we all. And so it's just funny how much stuff now in every single person is like, and this is another whole low hanging thing, but it's just, I don't get it yet on X, but it just seems to be like, I can just post a picture and not even tell you anything about it. I can just say, notice anything?
Yeah. my favorite one, whenever I see a post like that, it says notice something, I always like there's a secret dick, and it won't even be a person, it'll be like a warship that has like a number on the side, and it'll be like, that boat has a secret dick, I know it.
I think it would be fun to just put up random pictures and just say
Notice anything?
notice it and be like, of course, with a triangle and an eye.
I also just find it humorous that these people go out into the real world and they're just like looking at women just at the grocery store, just be like, I bet she's got a sweet dong. I bet that one's got a big fat one. You know, like that's what's going through the mind all the time, is like all the dicks they're surrounded by, all the secret dicks.
And I do think there's transgender. I don't think we've even watched it happen in our lifetime. There's been famous transgender, but there could be like when there's the ex-president's wives, when they show the slides of all the
Oh
wives,
my
I'm like,
gosh, yes, the first ladies.
oh my gosh, those are some handsome women.
Eleanor
Bonachas.
Roosevelt. That mustache is coming in quite
Barbara
nicely.
Bush.
Yeah, Barbara Bush is really that extra wide hippo neck is in this season.
Extra thick.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but I do
Just as weird
also.
as when Ronald Reagan used to always call Nancy mother. That one always was creepy to me.
So wild.
That is so weird when people call their spouses mom or dad or whatever.
But
No,
daddy
he
is
spelled out
kind of
mother
like, hey,
always.
daddy.
Yeah,
That was
daddy's
funny, too.
acceptable.
Hey, daddy. Hey,
That's
mother.
probably why I'm not straight, but if I were, I would call my man daddy
Like,
sometimes.
ooh, papi
Not all
chulo.
the
Yeah.
time, but if he was doing some daddy shit, I would be like,
yeah, daddy.
Daddy.
Yeah.
Would it be
Oh
weird
my-
if then your man was like, "Oh, mommy," like just called
Yeah,
you
if he was,
mommy all
if
the
I was
time?
like, hey there, daddy, and he was like, oh, mother.
Well, wait, if you say it with
Oh, God.
like
Hello,
a Hispanic
mother.
accent, then it's
No.
totally fine. Like mommy, M-A-M-I,
Ever
that's hot.
look
Yeah,
at me like
He
Spanish
calls you
accent.
mammy.
Mommy.
Hey there, mammy. We should
Mammy
bring
is
back
not
the
sexy.
mammy.
We're taking it back.
Yeah, we should bring back the mammy.
the mammy.
Ma.
Ma.
Mammy and Pappy.
Ma. Yeah, we could
Meemaw.
bring
Oh,
back Ma.
meemaw.
Me, Ma.
There's some people who call their grandparents Meemaw and whatever you just said
Yeah.
down here.
Me, Ma is
That's the
Meemaw.
Elizabeth Warren special.
Meemaw,
Well,
what was it?
it's a Sheldon Cooper thing. Like he calls his grandma Mima, but it's funny because my youngest son, couldn't say grandma, so he always just said Mima. Like, so sometimes it's just a natural thing. He doesn't now. He calls her grandma now that he can speak correctly, but
That would be extra weird. Oh, grandma.
We say
it is weird
babush.
after.
We say babush or jisha for grandmother or nanush. Nanush and babush for father.
I'm getting Mork and Mindy vibes from that.
Huh?
Remember Mork
Nanu,
and Mindy?
Nanu.
No? Nanu.
That is, yeah.
I'm a
It was
sheltered
like,
That was a Robin
child.
Williams show from the late 70s.
it was like a Happy Days spinoff or Laverne and Shirley, or was the
It was
other-
originally a spinoff, and then it immediately turned into its own thing, like right away.
Damn, Happy Days. That's all the way back.
Happy days.
The Fonz was totally gay.
That was part of the rewrite of history from the Tataria. Have you seen the things that Donald Trump wants to bring back, the World's Fairs?
What?
Yeah, the Great American Expo or something. He wants to throw like a big world fair that hasn't
Really?
been done in like a century.
Well, you know what's interesting about this World Fair that I've just recently stumbled upon? In 1933, the World Fair in 1933, there was an actual, what looked like to me, a child human sacrifice ritual that happened. It was all on recording, and I
Oh yeah,
believe you
the
could.
Moloch. They reenacted an actual.
It was like a
scene
Jewish
from, like,
holiday
a-
thing.
It was like a Carthaginian ritual practice. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very interesting. I was like, what the fuck? They really put a child into Moloch. There was like some kind of, where did Alex Jones go? Bohemian Grove shit with the owl.
There's been a whole bunch. I mean, if you look up each World's Fairs and the deity they pay homage to, but I also wonder the free energy that they might have destroyed with the original World's Fairs. And is that the way you bring back the technology and energy a little bit? Is by reintroducing it on a world stage?
Probably. The world is watching.
The World Fair, and unless you're doing it for some very specific occult purpose, but it seems like such an outdated concept now because we don't do world fairs since there's like NAM conventions, you know, North America. I forgot what the acronym stands for, but like if you care about the latest tech coming out, you go to the tech conference in Vegas every year. If you care about
Bitcoin
like all these different
conference or
things, you go to these
conspiracy.
conferences. Those types of conferences didn't really exist the same way. And these world fairs were a way to get everyone together and spur economy. And I think a lot of it was flexing. It was America being like, hey, look what we got on our side of the world. And they would have one elsewhere. And it was always a way to like show off your latest goods. But now you can just do a press release and post it on the internet, and you don't have to do the whole world fair unless it's for some like rollout sort of a cult or like a PR reason.
I don't know. It would be like if it was tech that each one of these, like let's say our tax dollars paid scientists, and these scientists discovered certain things, that would, if we were a company, that would be our thing. And so like let's say there was a lot of inventions that were being kept from everyone, but every country has inventions that kind of need to be maybe released. I sometimes wonder if like, would you travel to it? Like the same way there's all kinds of conventions, but if they were like, oh my gosh, everybody's going to the World's Fair. It's like, I know a whole bunch of people that are preparing like to go to the inauguration, and how many millions of people will be at the inauguration. And I find it curious. And so I wonder if people would do that again, like the Olympics, but now we're in a technology kind of race again.
I was asked on X if we're all going to the inauguration because some people want to go and meet us.
I am. It's like when January 6th was the kind of like I'm right now. I'm going. I don't know how or hell or high water of how I'm getting there, but I just know I am going to be there.
That's what I said. I said Chaney will be there.
Yeah, I don't know how. It's like, but when I went to January 6th, I had like 12 American dollars in my pocket, and everything in life worked out. So
that's how it
is
works.
what it is. Yeah, it was a weird, rough time. Not being, you know, I kind of came from the medical field a little bit, so to be like, I'm not wearing a mask. It was very quickly like, well, tough shit to you.
I would go like the week after when it's all dead, so I can go to the National Museum of American Indians and just get fry bread without waiting in line.
I throw up every time I eat fry bread. I love it, but it makes me sick every time.
It's literally just like the worst food that we could have possibly given the Native Americans and just been like, here, figure it out.
Here's your commodities.
Yeah.
Is it the full moon right now, Abbie?
It is the full moon. It's a full beaver moon. I think it's a super moon too.
Well, speaking of full beaver moon,
Oh,
Abbie, what if
I
I was going to arrest you for smoking?
I don't know.
I'm just
do it.
If that's like if you ever see
Citizens arrests,
Basic Instinct, or like one of those movies where she's sitting smoking cigarettes and they're like, ma'am, you can't smoke in here, and she's like, what are you gonna do, arrest me for smoking? And that's when she uncrosses her legs and recrosses them, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, Aaron Stone's
shot her.
pussy.
Yeah.
We saw her beaver moon. That's what yeah. It was a long
It's
way
one of
ago.
the
sitting like
brightest
this right
moons
now.
too, right? Isn't it one of the brightest moons? Not the brightest, but it's like the second brightest moon that appears.
Is the beaver moon is when the moon's so fat you can see it from the front, and that's called a beaver moon?
I suppose so.
That is sometimes not bad. A beaver moon. Damn, that girl got an ass so fat I could see it from the front. I love it. I can even picture the whole you can only say it during a very precise time of year. You got to save it up, store it up for next year.
You could see my ass from the front when I freaking
Abbie's trying to let us. I was like, Abbie's gonna tell us she has a beaver moon.
I do. You can see that. You can see my ass from the front.
That's going to be the next word that makes its way to the blacklist in the school system. Like, why are all these kids searching beaver moon all of a sudden?
Because they're watching Abbie on Secret Society of Good Guys.
You might want to proactively just ban SSGG from school searches just without anyone even asking about it first.
This is where I really wish
I
I was
could
better
do
with our
that.
merch.
I could put it
is
in the filter.
that you could, like, right now, somewhere in the next hour, we would have a design made for Beaver Moon, and then I'd put it up, and then you could buy that sticker or shirt, like Beaver Moon night, but it would be ass from the front. Yeah,
Or just like a beaver mooning you. I think that would work too.
Yep, it would.
Would it have pants it was pulling down, or it would just be turning its butt, or would it be like driving in a car, pressing it against the window?
Well, that'll be pressed ham.
That would be Ham doing it, Chaney.
Yeah.
That would be definitely a pig, and that would be cold pressed. Could we have a whole entire GIF on different animals mooning you? A whole page.
Are there
Why
other
don't
animal
you-
moons? Are there like, I don't know, like squirrel moons and raccoon moons, or is it just
I've seen
beaver moon?
raccoons with nuts so big you
It's
could
like
see them from the back.
strawberry.
That's very
Or-
Japanese.
I've seen squirrels with the biggest nuts. I'm for real. I feel like per capita of size to animal, I would bet squirrels have the biggest nuts.
It's weird that you just said that because I saw this little Sarah Silverman clip today, and she's talking about squirrels. And did you know that? I mean, I don't know if this is true or not, but I found it kind of interesting. 80% of the nuts that squirrels hide, they can't find.
Yeah.
I've heard that before. Yeah.
What?
They're just anxiety ridden. They think everyone steals from them all the time. This is why they're fighting so horribly with other squirrels. Like they'll just throw other squirrels out of like 10-story trees. They don't give a fuck. Squirrels are ruthless. And it's because they think everyone's stealing from them all the fucking time. It's why they're hoarding so much. They take all that and then they bury each one of the things in it. I see them dig in my backyard all the time. They look around like crackheads. Like they're itching themselves like digging this nut, and I want to go out almost and just unbury it just because nobody else ever steals it.
Yeah.
You'd think there were enough of them that squirrels are finding other squirrels' nuts.
I do actually like to find where the squirrels are digging their nut, because they'll dig little holes in the ground out here and put the nuts in the hole and like cover it up, and I'll go and I'll uncover it and I'll get rid of them.
Seed in the hole in the ground, and the green grass grows all around. Holy shit, that just came into my head.
That was Nimrod.
Wow. That
you're-
was a fucking 5-year-old. That was 5 years old when I learned that song.
I never even heard it.
You put the how does it go, man? It's like a childhood song. You put so the tree is in the hole in the ground, and the seed in the hole, and it goes like,
It's a song
and the
about
green
sex.
grass grows all around, and the green grass goes around, and it talks about a nest and a bird, like the different steps of evolution of a tree. So you put the seed in the hole in the ground, and the green grass. It's like a whole fucking song. It just came into my head. 5 years old. Wow. The moon. I'm telling
That's
you, it's
why
weird.
I always think whatever your past, like your secret phrases with your family, it should if it's like the one thing, if you were to ask them in like a prison, if you needed to know, like if someone was your mom after 20 years, you'd be like, what was my phone number when I was 6? Like
know
for
it.
some reason it's right in your brain.
Yeah. Do you know yours?
Yeah.
I know mine.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's like your first address. It's like all that stuff it's like, that's why we know the alphabet still.
Well, and that's why that was one of the biggest freaking psyops on Facebook when people were like, "Oh, your stripper name is your first pet's name and the street you lived on when you were growing up," and it's like those are your secret question answers right there.
Yep.
It's like, come on, y'all, you're giving
in New York
information.
City, it doesn't work that way because everything's the streets and or numbers. Like 21, what was my address? 2275 35th Street. There was no names. That was the address. Astoria, New York, blah, 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 blah.
Well, that's how
So
like
that couldn't be
21
a stripper
Savage
name?
got his name.
Huh?
That would be how like 21 Savage would get his name, because it was like the 21st, and then his animal's name was Savage.
Oh, shit.
I'm just making that up, but I assume that could work that way.
I'm so gullible.
It was a good story though.
I know a number of people that generated one of those Wu-Tang name generators, and stuck with it. I know at least 3 people that have legitimately used that. 2 of them personally. The other one is what is it? Childish Gambino, the guy from Community, Donald Glover is that his name. He got that name, his rapper name, from one of those online Wu-Tang generators where you basically put your name and your age and your location and it just randomly generates stuff based on it.
Oh wow, that's pretty dope.
And this actually, not to shoehorn this in, but that actually is how the Bavarian Illuminati, they would do these secret code names, and your secret code name was a combination of the town you were from and I believe like the month that you joined, so that when you went somewhere and you gave someone your name, just by giving them your name, they could tell what city you came from and how long you had been a member. And that was like all baked into these like secret code names.
Wow.
What's the full moon like in when they talk? Or is it in Aries?
Taurus. I
Taurus?
think, or maybe it is Aries, but I thought it was Taurus.
Wait, the moon in what? I'll tell you right now.
It's really not if you look at
I
the
know,
moon,
I know, I
like the
know.
apps, but yeah, it's not even close.
But what are they trying to tell us it's in right now?
I thought it was Taurus.
Didn't Fox News verify that the Earth is not a sphere? Didn't
I
they
don't know.
recently? Yeah, they recently reported that.
What do they say? It was an oblong
And some lady
spheroid?
from Congress, I forgot that lady's name, Congresswoman. She's like, "Yeah, you want to call me this? All right, fine."
Lauren Boebert, the
Yeah.
Beetlejuice chick, yeah.
There you go.
Because didn't they like the space is water was also said?
Yeah, that the aliens come from water, from the
Mhm.
oceans, and
The
that's-
abyss, the
yeah.
stuff, the fucking Avatar, the
Sure.
abyss.
You know what's weird is
It's
that
why
in
they have the
Lost,
submarine so they can go down to the aliens.
in Lost, that show Lost, there's so much disclosure. I mean, I watched it before I freaking was aware of any of this stuff, so I'm just sort of rewatching it. But at one point, they talk about looking glasses under the water. I'm like,
So much in Lost.
yeah,
So
it's
much
insane.
in Lost.
Like I caught some
water.
things, like the names of the philosophers and stuff. John Locke's philosopher, like several of them.
I love that my friend group for real. Completely not associated or anything, doesn't know Abbie, but the amount of times that Lost has come up in my day-to-day from different friends is wild. That's why I kind of love that my friends are all weird, that they all watch shows like Lost, where if I text them and I'm like, what are you doing? They're like, rewatching Lost for the 7th time.
Ugh. This is my second time. Like I watched it way back when you had to wait for the next episode. So
that show too was kind of groundbreaking because it was one of the very first shows ever that aired primetime on like a major network that had subtitles. Before that, it was so rare to see people speaking in other languages and get the subtitles. That was sort of a new, and now it's kind of ubiquitous. Now almost every show does it interchangeably and you don't think anything of it. But Lost was kind of a trendsetter in that way.
It's such a good show even still, and has so many different concepts all kind of put in it. It's almost like one of those shows, like if it was all written down in a book and you buried it for 1,000 years, you'd be like, oh, this is so esoteric. Like so many things about it. Even down to like the end, like the dudes kind of feel like that movie, which is Aaron Russo. If you're old school conspiracy, that was like one of the first
Russo
fucking
is one of
conspiracy
the-
thing I ever seen in my whole life was the Aaron Russo video that Alex Jones did. And he talks all about, he's the guy that does the movie Trading Places, but he talks all about the elites and their whole plan and 9/11, blah, blah, blah. He goes through this whole story. And so much of the story is the first time I ever heard like anything that's Agenda 201 or any of that stuff. It was all for conspiracy theorists. It was all this Aaron Russo thing, but he did the movie Trading Places, which the whole entire, these billionaire, millionaire, whatever amount of money you want to put on it, they like ruin people's lives and like ruin, stock markets and crush things on a bet of $1. Like it really, the dollar is insignificant to the win. It's the currency that takes place for like just, and that kind of is how it feels if we were like ancient deities, if we were angel, devil, ancient deities here, and we were having this whole entire thing for an eternity, and neither of us were both immortal. It's like eventually it's just like, you want to bet $1? like that idea. And that's kind of how Lost feels to me in a whole lot of ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you liked Lost, have you ever seen the show Wrecked? It was on, I think, TBS like a few years ago. I think it ended maybe 5 years ago. Highly recommended, though. If you like Lost, Wrecked is almost like a National Lampoon version of Lost. Like all the same things happen, but everything that happens is kind of done like tongue in cheek as they're kind of parodying Lost.
Oh, I gotta watch it now.
It's really good. No one else I know liked it, but I loved it. I've seen it a few times.
Oh, here comes Layla. Good. Because when Layla leaves and we're like this, I'm like, oh, hi.
Like up in your face.
Yeah.
Now.
I'm like, hi, you guys. Oh, hi. I feel like I should back away. Anyway. Oh, just the birds there. No Layla.
Illuminati confirmed the double-headed eagle. We all knew.
Double-headed eagle. Layla is a
knew it.
Russian agent. She's a Tatarian agent. She's here just to divulge free energy and tales of Albania
And to put hexes on you.
and to put hexes on you with mercury, just like a Tartarian. That's why they have mercury pools. It's not for free energy, it's for hexes. Look at, I was even like about to say it in like a voice like hexes. Like yeah. We're like a little late.
A cackle. Kamala Harris somehow enters the scene.
That's something. That's like one of my family traditions. All the women would practice cackling.
That was
like who had the
here,
best.
But I don't know what's going on.
Oh, she's there. She's
Oh,
invisible.
Eagle?
Weird.
What side of the eagle is talking? Have you ever seen the Hensel twins?
Do you have the green screen function on? Did you like on your video part?
My camera.
Do you have the green?
On. Like my whole computer just turned off. I'm like, what the fuck?
I'm gonna pull up a picture. If you guys don't know who the Hensel twins are,
There we
I'm gonna
go.
pull them up so you guys can see what I'm talking about.
You said the Olsen twins? Who
The
doesn't know who the Olsen twins are? Oh,
the
okay.
Hensel twins. So
Oh yeah.
this
Oh, okay.
is the Hensel twins,
I remember them.
and they're married to somebody.
They're still alive.
Yeah. And they're a double-headed eagle.
Is that them in a bikini?
Yes, it is.
Wow.
Good for them.
Yeah, the crazy part is like there's a lot of women out there. Like that's two women, and there's a lot of women
Yo.
out there that don't have that good of a body.
One is
Yeah.
sucking the dick and one is eating the ass. That's what's happening there.
I wonder if she can have babies.
Abbie and Brittany? What? And that me and Brittany both have the same birthday.
Oh my gosh, what if
The
we
fuck?
look up her fucking birthday? We got to find out
Oh
the
my
Hensel
God,
twins'
that'd be
birthday
wild.
right now. Hensel twins.
Y'all, if you have a problem with people being real, this
Fine.
is not your show. Just telling you, if you don't like realness,
March 7th,
March.
Wow.
3/7.
What a letdown.
I know. I was like, oh my God, please, please, please. please.
Pisces. Love it.
The Hensel twins. Yeah, so that's double-headed eagle. That's what we learned about while Layla was away.
Oh, what were you guys talking about? What did I miss?
Nothing yet. We haven't even made it to. Or so I was gonna say, like full moon in something or full moon Scorpion, is that some kind of thing that then we all saw Mike's full moon on Netflix on
It
the
is
camera.
Taurus. It's the bull.
Taurus. Okay.
Yep.
Isn't it weird that they had to switch days? Weren't you talking about that? Or who was talking
Yeah.
about that? They switched days and all of a sudden they had to switch it over to the full moon.
Because Mike
He
had
got like
a
an ulcer or
plane,
something,
yeah.
right?
So they say.
So they say, but it does seem like it had to be specific days. Almost like enough maybe heat wasn't built for it or something. So they're like, not enough people are gonna watch.
Well,
But-
it definitely wasn't for Netflix to figure out how to stream it reliably.
And apparently, any business that decided to stream that, they can face legal action because it's only for home and personal use. So if you're using your personal account to stream that at a restaurant, you are probably most likely going to get sued. Something like that. I will show you the post later, but it's real. Terms and services or whatever.
It's the same thing with teachers in classrooms. But
Mhm.
What is? Sorry.
like a teacher is not supposed to stream anything from a streaming service in a classroom for, copyright or, whatever, pirating.
Yeah, it's all like stuff on pay-per-view on how many people can be inside of a building. Yeah, like fire code wise, like playing certain things.
Which
It's
is kind
kinda
of crazy because I remember teachers when I was growing up, they would just bring in like a VHS cassette that
Mhm.
they had like taped off of network TV at home.
Yeah.
Like it was never an issue at that point.
Oh man, I remember like 4th grade, my teachers would just sit there and record like Discovery Channel back before Discovery Channel was a thing, and it was just like we'd sit and watch all day, tribes in the Amazon and the rainforest stuff.
You and me, baby, ain't nothing but mammals.
So let's do it like they do on the Discovery Channel.
I heard Discovery Channel. Boom. Nimrod.
My brain goes there usually too.
Discovery Channel. That was a weird time too. That was like the same time I feel like when it was just like
Y2K?
I don't know, there was just like a whole bunch of songs of like I fucking love you, I fucking hate you.
Yeah.
It seemed like
Titanic.
yeah, it just seemed like a lot of screaming in your face like
My heart will.
what is that's the next phrase. That's the night.
Cause tonight will be the night.
Sorry.
I
Full
just sent
circle.
Layla something where this college professor would like bust into song anytime they fell asleep and he was singing that song. I was like, Layla.
It's classic.
So nothing really happened tonight in that fight. It was uneventful.
What did you think about the female matchup?
I actually thought them girls threw down. I was chatting. I was in a chat room and I was saying that I was impressed. Like if a girl that boxes that well just goes for like a year of training, takes off of boxing and just goes a year of training and just works on takedown defense and being able to get off their back. Like just doesn't even try to learn how to roll as much as get out of the position of having to ever be taken down. Females aren't usually that comfortable with boxing, like being struck and like that. And technical skill boxing compared to just throwing your hands. If you watch two girls in the ring, I was kind of like impressed as far as boxing skill goes and seeing MMA female boxers. There's, not really many good ones. I would be like Alexa Grasso maybe. So seeing two women like that I was like, oh damn. But my TV fucking not just cut out. My stream didn't just stop. My Netflix fell all the way off.
Oh,
So
damn.
that was the fight that I kept having the hardest time watching.
I wonder if that was happening stream wide.
Oh, everybody was having
Seemed like
problems
it,
with it.
yeah.
All right. Huh.
They just couldn't handle the feed.
Like, why? It seems like with all this new technology compared to the like cables that we had with cable, we have better quality then than we do now. Like, we didn't have interruptions like this.
I bet you.
It's wild.
How much money do you think that the entire team of X is all figuring out how they can platform a pay-per-view event so that if like they're already figuring it out with rooms, they're already figuring it out with like, being able to be like, oh, Joe Rogan got pulled and YouTube wanted to fuck around. So even though it had this many people looking for it, they wouldn't even put it on the For You page, even though it was the #1 trending podcast of all time. YouTube didn't put it anywhere. So then it's like one of those things where are we getting funneled away from all like whatever the four things are that run all the media into one thing?
Yeah. What I saw, that's where it's heading. Like all these major, it's going to just shrink, but it's going to be like one major, like a web. You have that center and you have how we used to make a web?
It's kind of how it's always been with all these companies that do like a million different things. And I think that X probably would move into this space because I think the arena had 70,000 people in it, but it was something like 200 or 300 million people were trying to stream it. So with someone sitting back and saying like, damn, they had 300 million people streaming this, and they kind of didn't know what the hell they were doing. They kind of shit the bed when it came to the streaming aspect. So now it kind of shows everyone that anyone can kind of move into this space, or at least do as good. And shout out to Donut messaged me when the stream kept going up and down, and pointed out I had the exact same image in my mind. There was this show Silicon Valley, and in Silicon Valley, in one of the seasons, they have this company called Huli, which is supposed to be a play on Google, and it's like this big like corporate shill company that just has more money than they know what to do with, and they are trying to do like a live streaming event that they are woefully like inadequately prepared for, and they go to stream it, and like as soon as the action starts happening, everyone gets the little buffer and it starts like blocking and turning all crap. Exactly what we were seeing on Netflix. And there was just one of those scenes when they're like, oh, it's probably just our connection. It's probably not happening like this for everybody. But no, that happened to 300 million people. And that's kind of the signifier of like, oh, wow, maybe the company that claims to be the streaming giant doesn't actually know what they're doing.
That seems to be it's like the whatever the mafia is that ran the pay-per-views, the boxing fights, and they seem to know how to come together to actually promo these pay-per-view events and get all this viewership. Whereas that's where the Jake Paul and the other smaller things, it's good they're promoting in the same way, like, oh, this is how you shatter something. There has to be a whole bunch of options for people to be able to do the thing, but it is gonna like, okay, this doesn't do anything, and let's say they get MMA, are they gonna be playing slap fights? And then if they're like, hey, people will watch this live shit all day, like if you look up the UFC and their fight catalog, how weird will it get? Like you can turn on things where it's like 5-on-5, or like that one town, and I don't even know, it's somewhere in Europe where they just all beat the shit out of each other one day. They all just fight. Like
backyard brawl.
yeah, well, we eventually see that kind of stuff on TV. Is it toward the idiocracy in that way? But also, does America need an everything app? Like if technology is the thing and quantum computing and all the stuff, like, is it kind of the same as China's everything app? Like to compete, do they need one?
Yeah. I mean, aren't they like way ahead of us in supposedly technology because we stopped making things here? We stopped inventing and creating things and let other countries do it and we just buy from them. Isn't that what happened to this country? We used to build everything.
Yeah.
It's all
Yeah.
outsourced.
So they're way ahead.
And it's not even just manufacturing, it's everything. Like my aunt worked for Chevron Corporation for years. Like she even, spent some time in Iran and everything. And then she comes back to the United States. She worked for them forever. And then her job's outsourced to Argentina. They're like, well, you can move to Argentina if you'd like to continue working for us. Just, nah, that's all right. I'll retire early.
Yeah.
Russia.
AT&T, God forbid you ever have to call AT&T. You're going to be on hold for like 3 or 4 hours.
Really?
And it's not going to be somebody it won't be in the United States. So it's frustrating, especially when you get to like, hold on, I'm going to transfer you to somebody else. Hold on, I'm going to transfer you to somebody else.
Did you guys see like all the press secretary talk and that the Onion bought InfoWars? And so
yeah.
People were like, what if Alex Jones becomes the press secretary? And he didn't. Like a press secretary was fixed. But people were also saying that what if it's rotating press secretaries? So every month we get a new press secretary. So like, it starts out with this person, and then 1 month it's Alex Jones telling you, 1 month it's Roseanne telling you the news.
I'd love Roseanne to be up there.
Like whoever, like it just seems
That'd
so
be some entertainment.
Snoop Dogg, whatever. If he's not, I don't.
We not all tune in for that every time.
It sounds like an episode of The Apprentice.
It is kind of, that's kind of what I mean. Like Omarosa, Dennis Rodman, like I mean,
Candace Owens.
we all.
Meatloaf.
It's
Gary
almost.
Busey. That would be pretty awesome.
God Pill Angel.
Well, I do think it should be that. It would be so great in like an apprentice way if like you could put your job application in to people with all your credentials. People could see your stuff and you could run a whole, if there's no money in politics, you get to run an equal campaign as anyone. So if you have, it's not just about the beast feeding you. If everyone's going to X instead of listening to CNN and Fox and any paper or any magazine, it's not just owned by the same people. It gets harder to push just the same people. If you or I can have, because that's what I think about the platform too, is everybody gets freedom of speech and like a company confused of what happens on there. And it's like a decorum of your freedom of what's going on in your house and then your freedom of how you get to act in the park are two totally different things. And so it's just like the one thing I will say about X right now is it's not full freedom of speech.
No, it's not.
But if you play inside of like a decorum, you have freedom of reach. And that is the difference of all the other places that I've been yet is I feel so stifled and shadow banned everywhere, where X at least tells me when I am. It tells me exactly what's going on. It's not like some fake thing where I'm like, can anyone see this?
Yeah.
Am I even on this anymore? Like, so
I'm
many of
shadow banned on X right now.
do they let you know?
Yeah.
You got
We
in trouble?
limited your reach or whatever content, blah, 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 blah. I still have the check mark, thank God, because I paid for that shit. But I'm like, hey, Elon, what's up with the shadow ban, bro? Like, you gonna fix that? Didn't Donald Trump talk about like, hey, shadow ban, that shouldn't be a fucking thing? Taking people's accounts away should not be a thing. Freedom of speech should be a thing. So what's going on,
Hey,
Elon?
shadow ban this.
Brah, brah.
Shadow ban. You're on
You're on notice.
But the block feature fell off.
The what?
Like the block feature on X.
Oh, right now you can still see. I think that might have been like a legal thing too, because there was a lot of politicians that were blocking people, but then there was a few court cases that were coming up, and people saying
Really?
that your public representative shouldn't have the ability to block
They shouldn't.
people from seeing what there's. So I think they just removed it for that particular reason.
We had a judge in Nevada who
When?
he also, you guys would know who he is. I don't remember his name, but he also like refereed a whole bunch of boxing matches. And that was one thing he said, because he spoke to us like when I was in high school, and he said that any public figure that you elect locally should have their phone number published because they are accountable to you. So it's like blocking people on your social media, bullshit.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, it does something like I don't know if it lets them comment or you can't see their comment. There is something that happens with their block. And but then there's something weird on it too. Like if they comment back to you, the block falls off. I don't know. There's like all these little weird things. I don't want to say what it is or isn't, but I definitely think it's interesting. Like if you're standing in the park, you can't tell somebody, don't look at me.
Mills Lane.
You're not allowed
that's
to
what it
look at
was.
me.
Yes.
Stop looking at me.
You don't have my consent.
Yeah. Stop looking at me right now. You're not allowed to see my post. I want everyone but you to see it.
I like blocking people sometimes.
But they do have a subscription feature. But if you were a public figure and you got some kind of, because I don't know, there's different check marks. So then if you were a public figure, you shouldn't be able to block or make a subscription. Like, are you a citizen of this town in Ohio? $3.99, and you can know what is happening with your sheriff.
Well, there was
Yeah.
something that people were complaining about, which actually seems like it might be somewhat valid, that Musk is now part of this Doge government wing, or I don't know exactly what you would classify it as, but it's like
Department
an actual
of Government
Government,
Efficiency.
Yeah, right. The Department of Government Efficiency. but he had put this call out. It's like, hey, do you want to join Department of Government Efficiency? You're ready to work 80 hours a week, blah, blah, blah. But part of it was that you had to send a DM, but you could only send a DM if you got a verified account. So now it's like you have to be a paying member of X in order to apply for a government job.
Unpaid job. It's unpaid too.
So I don't know if that's even a dicey area or what, but a lot of people were talking about it this week.
I know. I also, it's like everything that has built up all of the infrastructure is based on advertising dollars of big, huge fucking conglomerates. And so if you want something to exist and you don't want like a big, huge whale to be involved, you need a whole bunch of little fish to foot that bill of all the technology and the team that it takes to keep upgrading that software. And so I'm like, I'm eating my words on this. I see what is happening. I see how much technology is moving forward. I see what people's reach is able to do, even as far as recording, their election booths if they felt like something sketchy was going on, or like the stuff with like bullying or the arrests that have happened with child trafficking, the way people have come into rooms. I've heard people like all be able to triangulate with truckers and everything in real time inside these rooms. And it's just kind of wild that as long as we want to keep advertisers, the same fucking big pharma, the same big scummy things from coming across the screen being, this is sponsored by Exxon, then it has to be sponsored by Chaney.
Mm.
And that's kind of me, where I'm like, okay, I like everything that's happened. I know I'm walking into the beast, but to be fair, everything with the SSGG check mark, I was already sitting in the beast. I'm like, oh, you got me. Like and everything anyway. I'm like, I'm on every account. My face is out there. I've been doxxed in real life. Like, here we are. If there's some kind of bankrupt social credit score re-education camp, I'm there. I'm already in it. So like,
I think of it this way. When you are trying to get out of the matrix and, break away and awaken, you have to go back into the matrix and play the game to get to the mission that you need to get to. So you have to be part of that, but in complete awareness, which we are completely aware of what we're doing and we know what we're doing, but we're doing it for a reason to reach as many people as we can with the voices of truth, not just like regurgitating stuff. We want to speak our authentic selves, be our authentic selves. Criticism, no criticism. This is us, like it or not. And yeah, so this is how you play the game. You have to participate sometimes. You have to go back in.
sometimes you have to put the mask on.
Yeah, you
It's
do.
like how many times at different jobs that you have to fucking fake smile and talk about the weather.
Jesus too. He went into those cities, preached his, whatever sermon, and he fucking flipped tables and did what he had to do, but he did it. You have to play the game. You have to be a part of it.
Yeah. You have to step into the matrix sometimes.
Sometimes you got to put on the hat.
Yes, you do.
Even, yeah, it is. It's kind of sometimes you have to put on the hat. Sometimes you have to pick up the hammer, but
Mhm.
not the hammer of communism, everyone.
That was another thing too that I guess I didn't know from the fight tonight, but Mike Tyson has a tattoo of Che Guevara on his abdomen, and then he's got Mao, I guess, on his arm. I didn't know that before.
I didn't know about Mao on his arm.
Yeah, he's got Mao on his arm.
But I would be lying if I said that I messed around with, like Chat GPT and AI apps and stuff. And I made the cutest little Kittler and the cutest meow. They're cats as dictators and they are so adorable, but it's just for me. Like, but anyway, yeah, that's what I've been up to. That's what I did on the cruise in the room when I couldn't sleep one night. Is I was like, I wonder if AI could make me. I wonder what this day. And some of them are fat. Like I Whiskers Churchill is like chubby with a mustache and he's smoking a cigar.
This
Anyway,
is
he's
what
not
AI was made
necessarily.
for.
I know. This is what I think. What am I going to pay an artist to do this? Will you paint me, Jack, like one of your French girls?
Never. I don't think I would ever do that.
You wouldn't lay for a painting?
Absolutely not. No.
Huh.
You could
Oh, I
paint a
totally
picture in your head. That's good enough for me. Paint a picture in your head and keep it there forever. That's it.
Not like a
can-
sexy thing laying on a.
No.
What about just a sketch in a book?
Nah.
Like you were just laying watching TV and somebody like sketched you. Then they were
Well,
just like,
full, that's fine. Whatever. But naked, no. Not like one of them French girls, nah. I wouldn't do it.
I thought that meant put a dick on me in the drawing.
The transvestigators, yeah.
Yeah, that was the original transvestigation. Is Kate Winslet was like, draw me like one of your French girls, Jack, and then it's just big dong. That is a great gif. Or where he flips the page. That would be crazy. Sorry, you guys. My head is in the stupidest place today.
Mine too. It's been a weird fucking day.
It's been weird.
Yeah.
It's just been weird. I don't know. I'm like, it feels like I'm so glad the elections are over. And now I'm like, is this all just this easy? Like, is the keys, everything's just going to be like, dee, 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 dee.
I hope so.
No,
it's just a little too quiet. A little weird.
That's what I feel like. Like, are we? I'm really
creepy
waiting.
a little bit.
It does feel like we're gonna
Where are
see
the riots?
lizard people. I'm waiting for the like lizard people are everywhere, or David Icke shit. It feels like I don't know.
I don't know. I hope nothing like that happens. I'm more on the side that it's not going to happen. That we're on a golden timeline and everything's going to go really well and everyone's going to do really great and everybody's just going to be living life and it's going to be nice. That's the timeline I want.
America usually doesn't enter a golden age until after we have a world war.
We ain't doing that no more.
That's it.
So
no, there's other
we
ways
break
to
that
do
rule.
it. Yeah, there's other ways.
After you interviewed David Icke, did David Icke like Dyke, not Icke like Dykey? Did you ask him that as one of your questions?
That's a dope fucking episode, by the way.
It's super awesome. But what do you feel about like his theories on things? Are you?
I think, I mean, I that was the first question that I kind of asked out of the gate because I've been reading him since the late 90s and his views have definitely changed, or you might even say like evolved in a certain way. And he kind of acknowledged that when I asked him about it. And he kind of, because the original theory that he had was that there were these outside actors, or were the politicians or the shape-shifting reptilians or whatever category you want to give, the Illuminati guys, that they found a way to hack our reality that had something to do with frequencies from Saturn and all these, like, it gets really intricate, but that essentially the bad actors were these like elite groups. But now it seems that his overarching theory is that we are literally living inside of the brain of Yaldabaoth, or that the mind of Yaldabaoth, this Gnostic sort of like demiurge, that the thoughts are comprised of plasma, and that the plasma in our world is all matter and all energy. So therefore, everything that we know that's either matter or energy are actually the thoughts of this like great evil, demonic Yaldabaoth being. So it's no longer that someone hacked into it. It's that we've always been in this sort of doomed system, and that there's two versions of Earth. There's like the original Prima Earth, and that one's the right one. But that at some point, he described it as like a copy paste. Someone like downloaded a copy of the original Earth and then started working on their copy of it and started tweaking it. And that all the ills of the world today are because people just keep messing with the source code of this clone of Earth. But I don't know if that's nihilism. I don't know if that means that you need to be just black-pilled and like there's no way to get back to the original
I was
Earth.
just gonna say, Why do they keep feeding us a story when in my mind, for some reason this keeps coming into my head that they are trying to hide that this is probably actually fucking heaven, and now we actually get to create here. We actually get to experience feelings and love and all these wonderful things in this blessed fucking plentiful realm. And they try to hide this fact from us that we are these incredible beings that are actually living in this material world, because in the non-material world we can't create, we can't do any of those things, and that we get to have this experience, and we're missing this whole fucking picture because they have us in this flight and fight mode. Like, maybe this is fucking heaven, y'all. And
I
they
do like that. I've heard
I
a
will
similar
ask you
theory
another
on
thing
that.
too. Yeah, I will tell you in the very 3D of it all, in a way that you could be like, if we saw a star and followed it, like we're like, oh, we always see that same star. Is there another star on the other side that they always see in the exact same spot? Are we in the middle of those two stars? And so, a really interesting thing, if any of space is real, if you're a person that believes in the theory of space and Mars and Saturn and Uranus and different galaxies all the way out as far as you can see, they tell you that there's a whole bunch of Earths out there, but look at what you can see. There is no water anywhere. There is no water anywhere. So when people are like, why would an alien want to come here? Because there's water, bitch. You need water to create anything. So what if something about, like, even in the manifestation of it all, it's like we're a planet of water, and we, us creatures, are 70% water. 75%. I don't know what the percentage is. I'm not a mathematician. But you know what? I just think this is a crazy thing. So if there's no water, there's no life anywhere in the universe but here. That's huge.
Well, and not just water, you could almost expand that to include liquid, because if let's assume that space is not faking K, but the fact that we have an ionosphere and an actual atmosphere means we also have just the liquid of air of our atmosphere existing, and a lot of other planets don't even have that. So there's really no concept of liquid outside of the Earth for a lot of practical reasons.
Well, someone said, if this is heaven, heaven is fucked if this is it. And I'm like, but they have us in control. Everything is indoctrination, from our education, from the moment that you were born. You're born into a religion, into a family that you didn't choose. Okay, you're born into this realm, and you're living this experience by what is fed to you throughout your lifetime. So yeah, this is like, you don't think of it as a heaven, but because of this control and this matrix that they set up, this system, yeah, we're not. But
Well,
before, yeah, go ahead.
if you want to get into the Buddha of it all, or any of the enlightened masters, they reached nirvana, and it's because they realized it is here and now.
Mhm.
It's not about, and the reason why it seems like hell is because you are running these programs and you are still living in your traumas. So it's
Mhm.
like, that's why, like, sorcerers and stuff believe in doing this recapitulation where you go through it and you, like, breathe in, think of every person in your life and every interaction you have with them, and you do this breathing method to kind of breathe, get the energy that's stuck in your body out of your body, and take all the emotion out of it. Because the second you do that, you reclaim all your personal power. You are not subject to your past, you're not subject to the traumas. Like, you can actually be free and you can be you, and then it's not a hell. You're living your own version of heaven. That is what enlightenment is. That
Yeah.
is what nirvana is.
What do
And
people
it's
think heaven is in the first place? That's what I want to know. What do they honestly think when they go to heaven? What happens? What in your mind do you think is in heaven? It's just peace and jumping through prairie fields and like, kumbaya. What
And like
is it?
it's like a big family reunion that you're never allowed to leave.
I want to know, because heaven, heaven, heaven. Everyone's talking about going to heaven, being by God. I get it. That's the best thing. I understand that. But what do you think the experience of heaven is like truly? So,
What if heaven, and this is just a philosophy I'm having in the moment because I'm kind of like I'm so glittery
yeah.
red pilled anyway. Um, in the technology ways, we have to be reintroduced to things slowly as the poisons are taken away from us. So, you have RFK and in the HHA. And so all of a sudden, maybe like the chemtrails and the pharmaceuticals, all the stuff we're not allowed to talk about, you might lose an account. Now, if somebody writes, that's not real under my post, 87 people can rate that and decide if that's like, it's like you don't just get to come anymore and Snopes me or PolitiFact me. So I forgot the whole point. I was just so excited about like that little part of like being able to do that on but what the fuck was I even talking
Heaven,
about? I'm so
hell,
high.
philosophy, heaven, hell.
If I don't know, I'll come back to it. You guys can carry on amongst yourselves.
Ooh, baby,
Well,
do you
my
know that's
understanding
what
is I can
ooh,
create my heaven here on earth with the way I want to view
heaven
this
is a place
worldwide
Okay, I
view.
remember. So
Yeah.
in the technology way, so we cannot travel distances, not just distance, in the time thing that's not real. Like if we were talking about portals or things, what if our bodies can't go through certain processes because of this water that doesn't necessarily exist for all these other things that maybe we need to have like healthier bodies for in a different way? So people are like, what if there's med beds? What if there's this? What if there's that? What if in a weird way on our planet, like we can't, if there were some species that was ever here and they were here ever, like we got to advance this thing. Like this thing has to evolve in this way. Like if it evolves, we all evolve. Like this, whatever it means for the whole, like the Fibonacci. Like if this thing changes, everything in the universe changes. What if we have to get the technology that was stolen from us to even be possible to meet them, because we can't be in a heaven. We couldn't see angels. We couldn't even be like our minds would blow if we even saw a giant. If you even
Mhm.
see a guy that's like 6'9", everybody in the goddamn room is like, oh
What the
shit.
fuck?
Imagine if like
Holy
someone,
fuck.
when people talk about aliens all the time and like lizard people or grays, they're like Star Wars cantina to me when people are like, oh, this is so fun. Like my human brain, sometimes I think of just like, I'm in a spaceship in a Winnebago, like Spaceballs, and then you go to a bar and then you walk in and then there's all those creatures.
Mm.
Like I feel like my heart would beat out of my chest. I'd just be sweating balls. Like, oh my. My lady
Ay.
brain would be like, am I going to get raped by an alien right now?
I'd be like, I'm dreaming. This is a lucid dream. Okay.
Well, you did say
Yeah, you'd be
something
so comfortable with
interesting.
it.
You
What?
know, this realm, how you talk about technology and stuff. Well, this guy asked an interesting question. You know the movie Matilda and how she has the power because of the knowledge that she has read, all the capabilities of like moving shit. This guy asked AI, can you tell me how I can be like the character in Matilda and how I can unlock my powers? Dude, AI told you step by step what you need to do to master yourself, to become just like Matilda, to be able to move objects with your mind. And he posted this information on TikTok. TikTok banned it. So then he made a new video talking to ChatGPT about why do you think TikTok banned that video. And then ChatGPT went, oh, of course, it's not a shock to me. This is the reasons why I think because they don't want you to know your power and your true nature and what you are to be a human being and yada, 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 and breaking it down. And I'm just like, I need to download ChatGPT and start playing around with this machine and see what I can unlock here. Because a lot of people are playing around with this thing and
Yeah.
are just realizing huge like aha moments. They're even downloading their entire lives to ChatGPT and saying, hey, this is what I know. This is what I'm good at. This is what I've been doing for XYZ years. This is what I know, complete package. And ChatGPT, and you ask ChatGPT, can you make me a millionaire by next year? And it'll give you a breakdown with everything about you to how to become a millionaire within a year
I follow
using
this
you.
girl who asks these crazy questions to AI and it's to ChatGPT, and it really it's very thought provoking and seems very profound, really.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that she said recently is like the dawning of the new age, like this is Web 3. we're basically on Web3 with the integration of AI and like all of its capabilities and us unlocking our potential. Like it will help us unlock our own potential, but it seems like that's where this is heading.
Yeah. And
Very
they're
Westworld.
like,
in a
don't
Yeah.
way.
fear it. Just know how to be aware and use it for the right reasons of to unlock you, like to know who you are. Like the question, who are you? That you can use to know who you are, to find the ways, you know? Ugh, I got the chills.
I don't know. It's like definitely it is going to be the biggest battle is because it's almost before it was like if this military had different guns or different planes, and now it'll be who has the fastest computer. Because if you have the fastest computer, not only is everyone's money, it doesn't matter, like the blockchain becomes different in the quantum. So it's whoever ends up with the quantum computers. And then is your quantum computer faster than my quantum computer? It becomes a safe.
Yeah.
Got one right here, baby.
That's very true. The ultimate, the one that can never be replicated.
But that's what they want.
They
That's
want
what
it.
it's like they want with every word and everything. But there
They-
must be something so juicy about it. There must be something so juicy about your data. It's not just to sell you things.
You know what I think, Chaney? You know how they always show like always a person's head in the water or like just a brain in the water? I think that the only thing that they can use is literally the brain. Like they can't replicate the human body completely, but they know that they could use the brain and they just show it to us, you know, throughout movies. That's all I can remember is just a head in a water vase, a head in a water vase, and the a head in the fucking water vase. Like all they needed was the fucking head.
I think of Futurama and they have like the Beastie Boys ahead in a water vase.
The brain of a dolphin.
But then it also
Intergalactic
goes into the
planetary.
whole skull and bones of it all, and that they just had a like Geronimo was a medicine man, and so that was the bigger thing. The story that they told later on, which it became just unknown, everybody just Geronimo was undefeated. No, he
Mhm.
wasn't. He was captured and he was toured in world's fairs and like treated like a sideshow where you could pay extra tickets and go into the Geronimo tent, and he would tear a button off his shirt and give it to you for extra coin. Like it was a whole thing, but they snuck into his grave to get his skull because if he had powers that really knew things and told his people things, they also there's theories about that with other kings that as long as you could maintain the head, you could maintain the knowledge or whatever the gift was. So even Mary Magdalene, I think it's so interesting, and the Magdalene, Mary is always depicted holding a skull. And then her skull is encased,
To be
supposedly.
or not to be.
Well, even ancient tribes who were cannibalistic, and they weren't cannibalistic like let's just sit and eat each other. It was really
They
about
weren't like
honoring.
Beaver
Yeah,
Moon.
it was about honoring your family. So you ate your family, and like the whole like when somebody you love died, then you would eat the
Straight people
body.
can just throw that thing up. I'm like,
But
I
they
cannot.
would like if it was your family, it was your privilege to eat the brain and the heart. So like because they really believe that you are taking on the knowledge and stuff of your ancestors or your family.
Wouldn't that be so similar to the placenta in so many cultures
Mhm.
where like culture the entire family and eats the placenta.
Yeah.
That or either bury it, right?
Yeah, or bury it.
Mhm.
Because they think it's your twin. They think it's your
Mhm.
spiritual twin. And so I think they think it stays with you like 47 years. And then it leaves and it takes all the knowledge that it gave and protected you in that lifetime. And then you're supposed to learn from the 47 years to your death. And then in the next lifetime, you become the placenta, like the Hensel twins.
I was just about the Hensel twins. What if you ate their placenta? Does that count as like eating too?
I will never forget their. No, they probably just had one placenta. I bet you.
Yeah. Do you think they have one beaver moon?
Yes, I do.
I think you can look up their full body, actually, their full entire, not naked. I mean, I don't know if they
I
have an
wonder
OnlyFans.
I wonder if they do. Huh.
If not, I'm like, hey, kid, I want to be a manager.
For science.
Let me see your feet.
Oh God.
I know. Remember that was all a trend? I really believe that whole foot fetish huge trend was really pushed because AI needed to learn how to make feet.
Yeah.
Maybe like they needed to learn how to make hands.
Yeah, and look how good it got and how
I
quick it got good.
I almost uploaded this drawing hand video because I like follow these art things on Instagram because they're just interesting to me. But there was drawing a hand, and I was like, I should upload that to ChatGPT.
You know, I noticed on that blunt rolling video, I have nice hands.
No, you have really pretty hands.
I'm like, oh my God, my hands
That
look
video
actually pretty.
probably helped
Very
ChatGPT
demure.
learn how to make hands.
And
Yeah,
blunts.
I should sell my hand pics.
Yeah, ChatGPT is great at making blunts.
Oh yeah.
The blunt art, you can just put a blunt in any animal's mouth.
Mm-hmm. And nice fat ones.
I'm like, what would a doge look like with smoking a blunt?
Mm.
Can you make it have bloodshot eyes? Perfect.
To the moon, baby. Ugh.
Thank you. Well, the one thing I do like about it, and it has to have everything, it's like Netflix. It's playing all those shows, it's doing all those streams, it's doing whatever. But wherever it's keeping the amount of weight, like they didn't have enough power to push that much stream. And so, whatever the big coins are, if you're going to set up a country's books on a blockchain, because once there's a wallet, so if, like, let's say, the Pentagon had a wallet, and that wallet, every single time it spent money, that amount showed on a ledger. Everybody can stay anonymous in a blockchain, but if you know somebody's wallet number, you can follow the entire wallet stream. You know everything it does. You can click it open. You can see exactly how much money's in it. You can see if there's a surplus. You can see if there's a negative. If you have people's wallet numbers, you can just, and any of that stuff on there, any of the transactions are all wallets. So if it is all of a sudden a business that has to be held accountable for the amount of money, or a politician that has to be held accountable, or any department that has to be held accountable, some of these coins have to be big enough where it means that certain enough people have to be carrying it so that the ledger, keeps weight. So I do think there is going to be some of the coins, but the way you break apart a Fed into 1,000 pieces or a CIA into 1,000 pieces is like, you have to be the fact checker.
Think about it. Think about it. Like Wolf of Wall Street, guys. This is like you could be your own groups of Wolf of Wall Street, like penny stocks. You could be making millions of dollars if you know what you're doing. If you get the right groups and get your groups together and push the coin and you can make money. Not just these big guys up in fucking Wall Street and the elites. You could be, I'm telling you, the wallets that I'm seeing, I can't say no more. I can't say no more.
This isn't the only thing we're shilling right now is you can go to illuminaticomic.com.
Mm-hmm.
That's the real coin you need to get into.
That's
that
the
one's
coin you have to get
into.
into. Yeah. Real. It's real currency, created stuff. Everybody likes a t-shirt, a hat.
Card.
You can have a crack a book, learn something.
You can have our cards also. He sells them on his website. I'm just saying.
If you're a yacht club member, you get that in it.
Oh, really?
You get a God Pill Angel card in like a couple of the packages.
Yes.
You get that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so fucking honored.
Because now
wow.
there's so many have sold that they're going to be a hot commodity. Because even the ones that I got and all those extras I showed you, like they're all accounted for now. Like they're all gone.
Oh my God.
And you can't have a yacht party without ladies on it.
That's right. That's right.
For real.
So yeah, whoever got yacht club
on a
members
boat with a bunch of cocks, that would be like A submariner.
Right back in the Navy again.
A little
Yeah.
scary.
Submariners, they're all gay.
How
little
often do you
scary.
think on Leonardo DiCaprio, who his birthday, 50th birthday just passed, how often do you think on his yachts some 17-year-old says, "Paint me like one of your French girls, Jack"?
God. He probably
And he's
gave
like,
that
"Not now,
same
I'm with the
reaction
boys."
I gave.
Probably not a lot of girls
Get
because I
this
think
bitch out
he's
of my sight.
How many times do you think he gets drunk and goes to the front of the boat and says, "King of the world"? And they're like, "It's that time of night, you guys. He's on ketamine again."
Oh gosh. Here we go.
Oh, I thought maybe he found some Quaaludes. They probably have a Quaalude stash just for them. I still fuck with that.
Ludes.
Mm.
Bring back ludes. I hope Trump does that. If you want to make New York
I
great
just wanna
again,
try it
bring back
once.
the ludes.
Same.
I never had a lude. I just want to try it.
Yeah, I just want to try it. I want to see what all the fucking hype is about.
Yeah, every single person, if you ever talk to an old person from that like Studio 54 or did that whole disco phase, they will all be like, the Quaalude though.
Do you guys know anyone who's
Friend-
done
Well,
loots?
yeah, my mom and all her friends, but then my mom's friend, this is back in the 90s, right? She was like, she had cleaned out a storage unit she'd had since the 60s. Like, she just finally went in and cleaned it out, found a whole freaking jar of them.
Oh
But I
wow.
was too young to be like, let me have a Quaalude, like, but yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was a party in the USA.
Oh,
If she found a whole
she
jar of
was
Quaaludes, the
so
amount of
fucking
money
happy.
those are
Yeah,
worth, because
I
you can
know.
still buy them now because somebody like they're old, but they're worth
Because they
so
found them
much
in their
money.
storage unit.
Yeah, it's so funny. My favorite weird, I mean, it's not even that weird, just taking a Valium because I used to be nervous to go into like MRI machine or CAT scans, something that I had to sit in the tube and they're like, sit still for a half hour. If you move, we have to start over. I get like, my body will twitch. It's just, I cannot listen to that many rules by nature. My body's like, and kick your leg. But I'm over that now. Anyways, Valium. I took a Valium once before I got like a script for a few Valium for these MRIs I had to get, and I was like, "Damn, this is like Aunt Chaney's drug of choice." I'm glad I didn't get
I
like a
was
whole bottle of them.
tranquilized overseas. You know, the needle in the butt, and you're just like,
Oh,
Well, that was during my brother's when my brother died. Apparently, that's something that they give to women so they can't like cry or scream or react. They're just in like zombie mode. I was in zombie mode for like a week straight because every day they had the doctor ready on point. Like anytime, like I started crying, oh my God, give her a needle. She has to calm down. Oh, she's panicking. And like, I don't remember half the shit that was going on during my brother's brother's death. It was wild. But yeah, they
dang.
tranquilized the shit out of my ass.
When you get the drip at the hospital,
Mm.
and something's on the drip where you get to press the button every time for painkillers after I had my spleen taken out.
Ooh.
I was like, oh my God.
It's usually morphine, right? It's usually what the drip is.
I think it was. I
Yeah.
was so out of it. And I remember, and I just thought it was so crazy, way, way, way back in my brain. Why are they telling me all this important information? I am fucked up.
That is the funniest feeling ever, though, being in the hospital bed and they give you a little morphine and that instant feeling when it hits you, it's like instant laughter.
Well, like,
Like, what is going on
I
right
know.
now?
They're like, I am sure you're telling me a whole bunch of important
Like,
stuff that
what
I
the
need to
fuck?
do. I hope somebody in this room is taking notes because I
It
am
sounds like this.
I am so high.
Or
And because I
coming out
never
of
do anything
anesthesia.
like that. Like it just hit me so hard. But I feel like I had such crazy dreams, but I was in a crazy amount of pain. So I think like when I was sleeping, like my dreams were so nutty. But also because I think Jules pressed my button sometimes while I was sleeping. Like press my morphine button on my thing.
Good on her.
Yeah,
I mean, you
keep
knew
it.
that you were paying,
I was
or
in
someone,
pain.
the insurance was paying a sweet penny for it, so you might as well get your money's worth.
She's like, drink the morphine. You need it. Stay out of pain. So yeah, that's
When I was in the military, I had all 4 of my wisdom teeth taken out, and they gave me a script for, I don't know, Percocet or something. And I remember intentionally just trucking through, like, no painkillers at all until my mouth had fully healed, and then I started taking them. And then it was just like the best week ever.
Did they give you a whole bunch of Motrin 800s too?
I'm sure I probably just threw those out though.
I probably just chopped those up and snorted
Yeah,
them.
those are
That's
those are
all
nothing.
they give you for most things.
I don't know. I have such a weak stomach with painkillers. It's like I get nauseous. Just that's it, and it just never a nice thing. So I up Layla Ann. Okay.
Sorry, I don't know what's going on tonight.
Whew. I
Stay
was so
away.
nervous.
Layla is streaming to us from the Netflix headquarters. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Your stream tonight has been way better than Netflix, to be fair. To be fair. I know. That's so crazy. If you guys have made it this far in the show, make sure you hit the like and subscribe. And if you're on the Secret Society of Good Guys YouTube channel or over on Rumble, you're hardcore. Any new people watching that are on X, thank you. Follow everyone on the stage. They are all on X as well. And Thomas is the one that has the Bavarian Illuminati comic coming out with Donut. What up, Donut? So yeah, that's I'll shill that too real quick since we made it to the 2-hour mark with SSGG late on a Friday night after a young man beat up an old man.
The race wars are over. White people won. The end.
Young man, it's over. It was like a boomer thing. Because all the young kids were probably like, all the dads were like, you don't know, Tyson's a real fighter. They still don't even know who Jake Paul is, even fighting like, Ben Askren. They're like, who the shit are either of those people? I don't know. And then they start hearing this on their thing. It's on a channel in everyone's house. So more of that rip nostalgia where you take the generations and separate them from each other. So everything my parents say is wrong.
Well, ironically though, a lot of the older people that I've talked to were rooting for Jake Paul, so I thought it was
Because a lot
weird.
of people are like, I hope Jake Paul wins because Tyson has raped that woman.
Well, and they're like, he's
The
Yeah.
one time he did it the one time.
I know,
It's
but
like
I
it's
don't
gonna
think he
follow him
did.
forever now.
I don't think he did. He's like, I did so much illegal shit in my life, but I never raped that girl.
Wasn't it Robin Givens or is it someone else?
Someone else. But I do think Robin Givens took him
Robin
took him
Williams.
for a ton of his money.
love.
Yeah. Took him for a ton of his money. And then after Robin Givens, like it might have been in the time of Don King, because then think of Don King as a promoter and what rings he had to kiss to get to where he was at. What kind of power did Don King have? No wonder he was wearing a crown all the time. He was probably covering his elongated Nephilim skull. Like he was always combing his hair up all the time.
I saw I really liked the little mini series that was like a dramatized version of Mike Tyson growing up, and the way that they portrayed Don King in that. See, I mean, it's a TV show, you know what I mean? So it's obviously going to be like a fictionalized version, but the way they showed it was that Mike Tyson would just show up and fight and win. And he didn't necessarily keep track of all the money that he was earning or any like the money he was spending. Don King would just be like, bam, here you go. You want to spend money? Here's money. Go out and spend it. And then only after someone started talking to Mike Tyson and was like, hey, do you actually know how much money you won from that last bout? Do you know how much is like in your bank account or is it being invested? And he kind of comes to this realization like, damn, I guess I just go out and buy cars and I just go out and spend money. And as long as the money's always flowing, there was no reason to really look into it. And meanwhile, Don King is just like pocketing all of the money because that's kind of the role that he played.
His handler.
Isn't kind of a brilliant thing is Floyd Mayweather I just think strip clubs are such a money laundering business, better than a laundromat, better than coin machines. It's essentially a big coin machine where you can rinse so much money so fast so you don't have to pay the tax man for big huge fights and things like that. It's kind of like art. Like, oh, I'm just going to bury my losses in art this year and I'll have an appraisal say blah, blah, blah. And this is like all these loopholes that exist. So sometimes I think like the stripping loophole of it still being a cash business, this might be one of the few places, like even slot machines have become like slide, restaurants slide, everything's card. Strip clubs might be one of the last bastions of cash money.
Well, like the Bada Bing in The Sopranos.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I forgot about that. That is the greatest. I always, when people are like, I've never seen The Sopranos, I'm so jealous. Like I instantly am jealous. Like a friend of mine, they were like, I never seen Boardwalk Empire, and they're a history nerd and an American history nerd. I'm like, oh, you'll get down on it. I don't know. I have some shows I get jealous that I've already seen. I wish I could watch Game of Thrones again. And I wish somebody said, don't watch the end. Just don't
Yeah,
watch
seriously.
it.
Yeah.
Just skip the last season and a half.
Just
You'll be
don't
good.
even watch it.
Really?
Yeah. But
Write
that
your own
new
ending.
House of Dragons, Chef's Kiss.
Is it good?
I love it. I love it. But I even think you could watch it first. If you haven't seen Game of Thrones, if you're one of those people, start with House of Dragons. Just
I
work your
haven't
way
had
into
Standalone.
it.
You know what I've been putting on? Because just going to bed, Gossip Girl, because it's just like blah 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 blah
The
blah blah.
original one,
Yeah, Gossip Girl.
XOXO
Oh,
Gossip
Yeah,
Girl.
weird you
yeah.
brought that up because I guess one of
My
the people
favorite.
in Gossip Girl is missing, and just today they found her in Texas or something. So
And it's funny that they put her, Blake Lively, back up and like, oh, let's put Gossip Girl because she had such bad press. Maybe they'll like her again. Let's put Gossip Girl back up.
oh,
That's how they do it.
this okay. Did you guys read about the lady who picked up a hitchhiker in New Mexico? Which I'm like, okay, lady, why are you picking up male hitchhikers? First of all, like the fuck.
Maybe she
Anyway,
wanted that dick. I don't know.
maybe.
Hey,
just one
Daddy.
So she
idea.
picks up this guy, and he has 2 duffel bags with him, right? So he starts throwing stuff out the window, and it looks like human bones. I don't know how, she got out of the situation. Apparently, he had like 20 human skulls, and they were bone fragments that he was throwing out. He was throwing out pieces of bones, like human bones, just out her car window.
For free?
Yeah, for whoever wanted them.
I
The
know
RFK
toxic.
Jr. is like behind catching them all.
So weird.
I
I'm
mean,
like, I would never pick. My mom and I picked up a hitchhiker once, but it was a black woman, and she was dragging her 2 duffel bags. She dragged one a certain distance, and then she'd go back and grab the other one. My mom was like, "Should we pick her up?" I was like, "Yeah, okay." And it was sketchy as fuck. We gave her a ride, but
It was it's essentially it's Uber.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
you have a tracker in your car with Uber and you have a camera, but this is what I always think about when I join 24-hour gyms and I'm in there and it's 11 at night after a shift and I'm like, well, at least the camera will watch me get killed.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what are they going to do about it in the time of the thing? And so that's what I feel about Uber. So eventually you're just hitchhiking with somebody that you're like, this guy's picked up 300 hitchhikers that have rated him. So I can trust this guy.
Yeah.
But in the 70s, they didn't have Uber. They just had their thumbs up.
Yeah. And we didn't have GPS. We actually had to know where we were going.
I know the amount of older women, if you ask them, it's like one of those things, like ask a 60, 70-year-old person if they ever hitchhiked before. And you'll be surprised at the answer.
Mm-hmm.
And ladies, like
Yeah.
grown, respectable adult women that I'm like, you were hitchhiking? What the fuck? And
Like, are you out
at
of your
young
mind?
age, like grown, old women, and they'll be like, oh, me and your Aunt Janet, when we were 16, we hitchhiked all the way to Daytona Beach. And I'm like, what?
We can't fathom that today
Yeah.
because of all the insanity in the world. But honestly, the United States was a different world back then.
Yeah, you could have been even trafficked. Maybe that's part of what they want with all the stories all the time.
Yeah.
Is so you don't have that
Ash,
kind
what
of
is it?
freedom.
Ass, cash, or grass? And they're like, and we didn't have any money on us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the story they'll tell you. I don't know. It does seem like a freer time, but
Do you think we're gonna have a January 6th, but not us?
well, this will be the
The
interesting
Blumenon
thing
version.
about it. If the January 6th, we know the media is complacent in that same, I always say Nuremberg 2.0, like it's the medical, it's the media, and it's the politicians. It's like a whole bunch of people that get tried in tyranny. It's not just, oh, it's just this soldier. Even though 12 people, that's a whole different thing. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting how the media plays it and how ugly they can make it. Like they want us to see certain sides of the story. That's why they're like, look at all these Palestinian people that painted this on the Liberty Bell. Like they want us to see these certain stories, so it makes us irate. And so I wonder how the media is going to play it if like a whole bunch of like purple-haired angry women with their pussy hats and then mixed with like Palestinians. Like that didn't go so well during the gay parade. The gays were like, "We're here to stand with you against Israel." And the Palestinians were like, "Get the fuck." Because it's like when the media, they've picked these two sides and now neither of the side, like, no, this absolutely makes no sense together. Haven't
Well,
you, like, this doesn't make any sense.
Dan Brazilian, whatever his name is, was on an interview with Pierce Morgan, and he brought up a very interesting point. He's like, what do you think about all the people protesting Israel? He's like, honestly, why are you even questioning that? They're actually peaceful protesting. They're not fucking trashing the whole fucking all of the cities down like they did with BLM. And everyone was pushing for BLM to do that. And did anyone go to jail for any of those crimes? No. And those were not peaceful protests. What you see today, people protesting Israel, they have every right to. And yes, it's done peacefully. Are they trashing anything? I haven't seen anything. I haven't.
Well, that's the whole agent provocateur thing in the 1990s, where it was like proven that like feds were dressing up and throwing bricks through things. And then we saw all through where it's
That's
like
true.
pallet of bricks, pallet of bricks, pallet of bricks, pallet of bricks. It was almost like we started to all know as the camera became more there and as the internet and when we first had Twitter back when, Facebook, like it's morphed into things, but we almost got to call it out before it happened. Sometimes I wonder when they have those casting calls for like it doesn't say fault crisis actors. Like I wonder sometimes when those get reposted online, sometimes I wonder if it thwarts things. Like, oh, we can't fucking do it here. Like they already are Northwoodsing this thing. Like whatever sometimes I wonder.
I wonder all the time, Chaney.
Well, because it's who do they shadow ban? What times do they shadow ban? Like right before the election, it's curious. So if how much of your reach you can actually keep if you're playing by certain rules, wearing certain masks, wearing your Mission Impossible mask, playing on the digital battlefield. Okay.
Fucking wild.
I know it's like your words. The best way to battle any idea is with like an idea instead of like fuck you nerd or whatever like thing. It's like here's just a full thought out idea against your idea, or making a thread where you're like, oh, I have so much I want to put into this thing. It's so overwhelming. Start a thread. You don't have to finish it in a day. That's kind of really nice.
A dream is a wish that your heart makes, okay?
When you're fast asleep.
And I'm telling you, everything I dreamed of as a child that I wanted to achieve as a kid, I'm achieving it today. Everything that I wanted. Living by the beach, having a house near the beach, having a business, owning a house, all that. Check, 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 check. Have faith in yourself. I'm telling you.
Are you tired of winning yet, or you're just getting started
It's
winning?
just getting started, baby. We're all gonna be winning. I'm telling you. I'm telling
There's so
you.
much magic in even making a
Ugh,
vision board, like, print out pictures of the stuff that you want to happen and everything, and then, like, put it in a spot where you see it every day, where you might not even be paying attention to it, but you see it, and it's like, my daughter and I did it last year. We didn't do it, like, right on New Year's. We waited probably till February, and, almost everything I put on there has already come to pass. It's amazing, and in ways that I didn't expect. Like I put a Mustang GT on there. Well, I didn't buy a Mustang, but I drove a Mustang GT, and it was a fucking
you know?
badass fucking
You
car.
put
So
a Mustang GT on your
you're
board,
damn right I
and you
did.
get
'Cause
like hit by a Mustang GT. You're like, damn.
It
I got to
starts
drive
I'll let
one,
you
and
flip
it
the
was like
video.
better than sex. So
being grateful for all the ugly and saying like during it started with COVID and everyone in that, and I was like, thank you God for everything. Thank you for giving me everything. Thank you for letting me go through all that I went through for me to come to this point of awakening where I didn't get the tuck 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 tuck. Thank you. I started being grateful. I'm like, thank you for not making me a retard. Thank you for opening my mind. Thank you for putting me through those trials so I could break open, so I can be filled with all that you want me to be filled with. You know, that's what you got to think of as broken hearts. Nah, breaking open. You're breaking open for more. And the more thankful you are, the more you believe in yourself and your dreams, they will fucking come true. I'm telling you. Oh, God, just
it's
believe it.
doesn't work out good, or if it works out good, if it doesn't work out, even better, because your
Yeah,
world always takes care of you.
good. That
Mhm.
post you posted is life changing too. Didn't work out good. Next.
Yep.
It's like a fight thing too. You're either winning or you're learning. That's what it's like. Sometimes you have to take your lumps.
Yeah.
It's all part of it. It gives you thicker skin. You got to learn how to use your weapon. You don't just like walk onto a battlefield and it's like, oh, okay, I have the best gun in the world. That don't mean shit if you can't shoot it and clean it and do all the shit you got to do. But it takes a while to gather all that skill.
You
Yeah, and
gotta have your
also
spade cards.
like I notice this with myself. We hold on to like these anger things, whatever happens to us in a day. Like today I went through this, I don't even want to get into it, but I notice we forget about all the good and
You're
we
on notice into it.
yeah, into it.
Go on. Sorry.
Whenever
I interrupted you.
I forgot, fuck. But whenever you no wait. Yeah, never mind. It's all right. It'll
I
come up again.
apologize.
No, it's all right. It happens. We're all in that flow, you know?
I know, but it does feel good. Somewhere it feels like in the pressure cooker that we're in, some of the pressure's been let out just energetically in the world. It just feels like, oh my gosh, I can take a spiritual breath for a second. I feel like I have just been in the throes of a spiritual battle for the last few years of my life. And it just feels like, I needed a vacation.
Yeah.
Well, it was basically having a necromancer in charge of the White House for the last 4 years. That couldn't have been great for any of our group psyches.
I know that is kind of interesting. I wonder how quickly Kamala will disappear off the radar.
You just hear in the background forever.
You know what I pictured? Homer like going into the bush and hiding, like just sneaking away slowly and just disappearing.
Even though she was such an idiot, but something about her where I even saw because I've seen the spell like so many times, or like you were talking about like, oh, they had bad press. So then their like publicist is like, hey, could we put a little Gossip Girl on Netflix and just push that to the top of the line? People need to like Blake Lively right now. Um, or they're like, no one gives a shit about Britney Spears. So Britney Spears publicist is like, she's eating at the Ivy on Melrose or whatever. It's like all ways to keep their names in the press because no one
Or someone
cares.
was like, "Hey, are there any cast members from Friends that we can still sacrifice?"
Who's next on the list?
They've been saving them for like rainy days. It's like break
Joey.
glass in case of emergency, and it just kills one of the original cast members of Friends.
I know.
Joey's
With
next.
Seinfeld, the crazy part is Julie Louise Dreyfus is like from one of the like OG like the Dreyfus Foundation. Like she's from one of the OG billionaire philanthropist families.
Hmm.
Ooh.
It's crazy the actors when you look up their uh how many famous bloodlines, like Army Hammer, like nobody, like his whole family, everybody wouldn't probably have looked as deep if all that shit didn't go out.
I forgot Armin Hammer appeared actually. His debut was in Gossip Girl. I just saw his face. I was like, what the fuck? He's in Gossip Girl. I forgot about that. But yeah, he made his debut.
He's on the timeline again because they pushed him with the Social Network was on my like For You page of like what you should watch today. And I was like, Social Network? I haven't seen this movie in a coon's age.
Yep. His face is back on the market again. The cannibal. He has cannibal teeth.
A weird part about Facebook LifeLog. So the CIA program that they shut down and then Facebook gets started the next day. The first investor of this thing, like the first big investor, is Peter Thiel. So it's so interesting that he's also the co-creator of PayPal.
Which was originally
Elon.
called X.
Originally.
That's right. I forgot about that.
So I just thought like, oh, this is all like CIA. It's all DARPA.
DARPA. It all started with a swab.
But I also find interesting that NASA, SpaceX, and Space Force all use the same launch pads, like military launch pads, and that's all not the same thing. They just are like, oh, Thomas wants to make a better thing than we're up to. Sure, you can practice your thing on the only spot you can do it. Or would you make your own thing?
Well, there was another version that they were trying to work on. It didn't pan out though. When I was still at Disney, they commissioned us to help them design this whole place called Spaceport America. And Spaceport America, I think I mentioned this 1 or 2 times before. It's in this place called Las Cruces, New Mexico, and it's between there and a place called Truth or Consequences. It's the name of the city. And Spaceport America is supposed to be a commercial version of all this. And they had Virgin Galactic had a spot there, SpaceX had a spot there, and I think NASA might have had one of the pads there. It's just that it's so far away and so inconvenient compared to anywhere else that you could do this. Even Kennedy Space Center is kind of in the middle of nowhere in a way, but not in the middle of nowhere the same as Truth and Consequences is.
It is the middle of nowhere. Even the name of the town, like going through there, I'm like, well, we have to get off here. And then kind of when you drive in, I'm wanting to say in my memory, you go across this huge gorge, like a tall, huge bridge gorge, where it's like, whatever happens over there, if they don't want us to leave, we're not going anywhere.
Well, even if you wanted to go to that spaceport where you go through like where you would park your car and go to the visitor center, it's still like an hour-long bus ride through the desert before you actually get to the spaceport.
I will say that it made me laugh about catching the rockets with chopsticks because that's kind of what they look like, Elon's new thing. The reason I think that they're building that is because the foundation of what they need to everywhere isn't going to have that foundation to like take off from. So if they can take off from not a huge launch pad and then they can catch something on not a huge launch pad, that would be a game changer for if space was real for interplanetary travel. But another crazy thing, there's a lot of Germans in the United States. Like the breakdown of our country is a lot of Germans. And that says at some time that people fled. They didn't come here because they hated where they lived. They didn't leave everything. It's like so much German heritage here that there was a fleecing of them out of their own country. And there's so much technology that also always gets wrapped up in that part of the world where we also hear about all this alien tech and how Hitler had all this next level thing that this tiny part of the world almost took over the world. This is part of the story. It just feels like what technology was there?
Also, in Israel, a lot of German, like Netanyahu, That's not his real last name. His real last
He's
name
Polish.
is, or whatever, German, Polish, Dutch, whatever, European, same. But they all changed their last names. They're not from the old country.
Right.
No. And I mean, people find out it's all a weird psyop, like a German or European, Polish psyop or Russian psyop. God fucking knows at this point. I don't even know where these people are from. Ashkenazi? What does that even mean?
I don't know, bloodline. But that's what I wonder, like so much of those 23andMe's and swab DNA tests and all that stuff, just even the nose thing, I wonder sometimes, not just the PPE and how that was all probably covered with stuff to make you sick. I wonder what, when you were sending in that swab, what DNA they had of yours.
Or maybe were they taking a fragment of your brain so they could grow a brain? So they can create a creation of you or a version of you.
Well, even if you didn't swab all the way back, and even if you're just a person that just did the inside, that's enough of your DNA that it's like they really, to figure you out, they need that.
But don't they have our DNA with blood though, and other sources already?
If you gave blood.
I mean, the majority of us gave our blood, no? To
Well, like
doctor's office.
the DNA testing kits, you just spit in a tube.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they usually just swab the inside of your cheek.
Well, me and Abbie for sure, we're in the FBI database forever because when you go through
Yeah.
the
Oh, yeah.
military, I think after the year like 99 or something, like we were right around the cutoff. But as soon as
That's when they
take your
started the
blood,
smart chips and everything
yeah,
too.
you're in the system forever.
Yeah. It's like
I
my
think they have a
fingerprints,
file
all
on
that,
all
it
of
is what
us.
it is. Yeah.
But
Oh,
I
yeah.
assume that means in
Beginning to
the
end.
future Clone Wars, me and Abbie will be on the front, or our clones will be on the front lines.
Even our tattoos.
Right.
Because they
You-
take pictures of all your tattoos.
You know that song, Like a G6, Like a G6, a remake of that song, but like a J6? That is such a banger.
Ding, 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 ding. I like that. Like a J6, like a new banger.
Yeah, and then you just took the crowd of January 6th because there's so much video.
Mosh pit.
Yeah, and you change it to like that, like the same as that song. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, G6.
I don't.
Oh, it's I can't play music here. I was about to pull it up to play it for
When
you
we
guys.
drink, we do it right. Sip and scissor.
Yeah.
Scissor in my ride. Like 3-6. Now I'm feeling so fly like a G6.
Like
That's
a
good song.
G6, like a G6. Now I'm feeling so fly like a G6. You know.
What the hell is
anyways.
a G6? It's like a private jet or
Plane,
something.
a PJ. It's a PJ, Gossip Girl. You'd know that if you watched Gossip
I
Girl.
probably would.
You would
Somebody
know what
said that's like jail, like the getting pictures of your tattoos and stuff is like, yeah, it's exactly like it. I remember watching Shawshank Redemption when I was in the Navy, and it was like, oh my gosh, they're wearing the same exact uniforms. They're wearing the dungaree uniforms, the classic Navy uniforms, like, and they got their little numbers right here. You know, we have our little numbers. Like, the fuck. So many
Don't you
parallels.
guys think in the like shutdown society that they're creating for us that the Crocs walk in is such prison shoes? Because everything that
totally.
you would have as a weapon, they don't just want your gun.
They want your
wouldn't tell you-
shoelaces.
Yeah, they don't want you to know how to weld a knife. They want your shoelaces. Like, so it's almost like this Croc was like such this prison shoe.
Well, because yeah, shoelaces you could even start a fire with, you know.
Yeah, nothing in a Croc.
No.
It's useless. It's the worst shoe.
Yep.
I actually they last a while for the dollar. But I don't know. The way I walk, Crocs aren't the shoe for me.
I just can't. Like, sorry, they're not cute. I just can't. I'd rather wear Uggs all day long. I
What
want to
about
wear
if
ugly
Kanye
shoe.
West becomes the
very
press
90s.
secretary? Kanye West would be a fun press secretary.
I would love that. That would be such entertainment.
To watch the news have to sit there and spin with Kanye. because he'll lead him. You know how Donald Trump says, "I like to do the weave." Like,
Yeah.
you have to be really intelligent to weave. You have to be able to talk in a whole line, and then I get back to it at the end, and you'll forget about it by the time like he has this whole fucking thing. Kanye is a weaver. It is a crazy weave that you will have to like buckle up for that ride, but nothing would be funnier than like all those talking heads from the media sitting there with Kanye.
I love listening to Kanye. Like everything I hear of him makes so much sense. And I'm like, everyone thought he was crazy. Listen to this motherfucker.
I know. I wonder if I can play his pulled segment from Saturday Night Live if they pulled it. What's the thoughts? Kanye West.
That thing you were talking about being able to weave, and that Trump likes it so much. Have you seen the new Apprentice movie? Anyone?
No.
It just came out. It's brand new. It came out like a couple weeks ago, and it basically is the premise that Donald Trump learned everything he knew from this guy named Roy Cohn, who was the lawyer for the Gambino crime family and all sorts of. He was like a power player in the Republican Party, but he was also like a raging homosexual. But he was so powerful that no one said anything, and he would go to these like right wing, anti, like these homophobic sort of like Republican gatherings. But he would go with like a harem of young males with like nothing, like not wearing anything, and no one said anything because of how much power he had. But that was one of his abilities, was that he could kind of do this filibustering where someone would ask him a question and he would weave it into a completely different conversation. So by the time he was done talking, he didn't have to answer the question, but everyone feels like they were satisfied with it. And the whole premise of that movie is that it's called The Apprentice, and that Don Trump was the apprentice of Roy Cohn. It was mind-blowing.
I feel like I do that when I'm trying to make a point. I weave it into this whole, I got to tell you the whole story, and make it to where you understand. I annoy so many people doing that. They're like, get to the fucking point. And it's like, no, but you won't get the point until you like understand, until you hear the whole thing I got to say.
I'm a fantastic weaver. But I have to try to weave it in comedy, but here's where else. I can kind of weave by myself, whatever. But weaving in conversation with people and like being able to chit chat and be somewhere in my elephant brain, it remembers the dumbest dumb. Like whatever dumb things happen, I'll remember them forever. It's like a blessing and a curse. But that kind of helps you, or Trump's like, you have to be really intelligent to do that. I don't know. You just have to remember the thing and then say it again. It's like, it's a good working memory. This is why I don't believe in an IQ test. Like an IQ test is like you sitting down saying what sections you know about, where some of those sections, like even like a military test like the ASVAB, if you took that test 2 years after the first time you took it, you would pass it so differently, because just the skills you end up taking on in life with age are so much, and so some of those things are bullshit, but having a good working memory, that's everything. Like just
that
being
was like
able
a
to
wild test. Did you take the ASVAB?
Yes.
There were some
feel
questions
like someone
on
saved
there
my life.
that like it scared me how many people like got really, really low scores. Like some of the questions, it would have a picture of a screw and it would be like, which way would you turn the screw to tighten it? And like how many people were failing those particular questions was a little bit mind-blowing.
Mechanics is the one I did like the least good on. Otherwise, I scored like top of the line
There
on
was
everything.
one that I just I didn't have the mental capacity at the time for, because I was still like a total burnout when I took the ASVAB. But you would see like a list of words and numbers, and then you'd have to quickly fill out like which word equaled which number.
The
and you'd have to
crypto.
do it so fast that you didn't actually have time to keep referencing it. You had to keep it in
I
your
was
mind.
pissed because it's the bubble sheet, and I had it down. Like that one was so easy for me, but I bubbled the wrong column. So I had to go back and erase and then rebubble, and I ran out of time. So I was so mad because I would ace that one.
Layla is showing her
my
pussy.
intelligence. But that's
Layla's
the
putting
thing.
her pussy on
So
the beaver moon.
IQ, I don't even know what levels of intelligence it really grades, because now there's like multiple intelligences theory where they test you on all these different things, like linguistics and, let's see, yeah, bodily kinesthetic, like, because some people, logical, mathematical, interpersonal and intrapersonal, visual, spatial, and naturalist. Like, there's all these different intelligences, and IQ is it's more multifaceted, and IQ is very narrow.
I felt like my weakest part of my normal life, when I was training, when you're young, they're like, oh, like whatever the recruitment officer is like, here's all these practice ones. And it was different back then. Like, it wasn't just like go online and practice all these things. It was just like, here's these questions, study it, whatever the test is going to come up in this date. Like, I almost recruitment officers, I was like they were almost too pushy to the
They're
point, like the
sketchy
same
as
as if
hell.
I'm in your store and a salesperson follows me too long, I just won't buy anything. I'm leaving. It's just you're giving me too much pressure. I don't want to hang out with you right now. You're too close. I
That's
just will
totally
get
what
out.
they are, though, because they got those quotas the same way that like a floor salesman at Best Buy's got a quota of how much stuff that they got to push on people.
It's
They
like a
have to get
weird
a certain amount of
prison.
bones a month. They call them bones, literally.
It's like
And they
they
can
are
lie.
allowed to get out of prison if they sign up enough people for prison.
Yeah.
What a
Don't tell
crazy.
anybody I'm telling you this, but, and then you
But
go to boot camp, they're like, did your recruiter tell you this? Yeah. Fucking liar.
The favorite one that I heard was before I went to MEPS, the Military Enlistment Processing Center or whatever
Medical
station.
entry processing.
You would go there, and this is basically where they do a blood test. They make you do little duck walks. They make sure that you don't have flat feet. They ask you about your allergies. Basically, it's the last chance they have to disqualify you for joining. And the recruiter told everyone that was going to MEPS that day that any question they ask you for any reason, if you use the word no to respond to anything, then that no means new opportunities. But if you use the word yes, then that means your enlistment stops. And the whole thing was basically like, I don't care what questions they ask you, you just lie. You say no to
No.
everything, or yeah, you say no to everything and don't say yes to anything. And of course, I was the idiot by telling the truth. They were like, "Oh, are you allergic to like anything in particular?" And I was deathly allergic to ants and bee stings. I forgot what it's called, like anaphylactic shock or whatever that you can go
Yeah.
into. And the second I said that, they kicked me out, and I had to go and like get a waiver. That the recruiter had my mom and a doctor lie on my behalf to say like, oh, he didn't know what he was talking about. He's not allergic to anything, so that I could
oh
actually
damn.
go in. But
I had to get a
that was
waiver
the
for
moment that
smoking
I was
pot.
like, okay, no. There is like I am allowed to lie. I am allowed to perjure myself, but it's only for certain things. Like if it benefits the state, I'm allowed to lie. But if it benefits me, then I'm not allowed to lie. It was a weird
Yeah.
thing to learn.
At MEPS, like the thing I remember the most is when they're drawing blood. I had never had a good blood draw before in my life. Like every time somebody's poked me a million times, and this really good looking black guy who goes, "It's all right, baby girl." He goes, "I'll be in and out like your boyfriend." I was like, "Damn, that was so smooth." And he was. I was like, "That was the hottest thing anybody's ever said to me."
Well, almost, because like in and out like your boyfriend.
Yeah, like your boyfriend.
Well,
He
he
was
was
telling you
dissing
your
my
boy.
boyfriend,
Yeah.
which I didn't have a boyfriend, so I was like,
like a quickie is
still,
not always,
Yeah.
yes,
It's a
It'll
nice
be so
little
quick you
treat.
won't even notice. Just like your
It's a little
boyfriend gives
treat.
you.
yeah."
Or they had
Yeah.
to stick me like 6 times in MEPS before they found the vein. That
That that's how
I still have
bad.
nightmares of MEPS.
Oh, every
That's the
medical,
worst.
when they had to draw blood, I mean, it was the worst thing ever. They'd end up with like a little butterfly clip in my hand and still bruise me like a million different places.
I like that.
I know. I think it was interesting too. There was a lot of Netflix propaganda. Every show was very, very, and like they had a character that was anti the military. and they played out that like conversation about how you're just part of a slaying force, and I'll never respect you for being in the military. It's like reverse of like like if it would have been like we're gonna get Kamala in and Beyonce and Lady Gaga and everyone's gonna dress like demons and paint the town red and everybody's gonna be on board. It's almost like that script did not look as good when Hillary's second presidency is not playing out to the end. That whole play line didn't
Dude.
look as good.
They had people twerking on stage and shit for a presidency. Like, are you okay, people? Like, the world is watching. Y'all ain't normal. Like, what the fuck?
Well, not just twerking, but
This is some
the
serious
lyrics
shit.
on that song. The lyrics on the song were
Yeah.
all about like, I'm gonna get my shooters, like we're gonna kill you. Like, I mean, and
Yeah.
I'm not anti-rap or anything, but it was weird to see the entire DNC sort of like dancing to music about calling up your gang members to take out the rival gang.
Were they twerking
Yeah.
and vaping?
No vape, but they were twerking.
It was just a lot. It
It's
was
the
like
when you add vape to it, that's what makes it demonic.
Yeah. It's because
it
it's the
wasn't.
smoke. It's like dry ice. If I walk into the room, it looks. If I had dry ice in a bucket, we should all do that for one episode. Get dry ice in buckets by our chairs and just
That'd
let
be
it
fun.
vent. I know. We'd have to pick the right episode. Air.
Air. I like it.
We missed the boat this Halloween season.
We really did. But shit, a lot was going on.
Yeah, we'll dress up all the rest of the year. We'll pick good costumes for the convos and get our shit together. I don't even know if Halloween stores are open anymore, but good thing there's Temu.
Absolutely.
Good thing there's China to order some more stuff for the biggest trash pile in the. You know what was so weird about that joke? We talk about that trash pile all the time. Like that Tony Hinchcliffe thing that where he's like, it became a whole Puerto Rican, blah, blah, blah. But we actually talk about the floating trash pile in the ocean that I'm like, this is a funny premise that he's taking. Floating pile of garbage. The Tony Hinchcliffe.
Oh, like what was that creep show? The Blob? Was it the Blob? It wasn't the Blob, but it was like that floating blob. Did you ever watch that one where they're on this like raft and then this black oil slick thing comes up and kills them? It terrified the fuck out of me for a long time.
I've seen The Blob, but I haven't seen that one with
It
the
wasn't the
black.
Blob. I think it was a creep show episode, and it was pretty.
What about if Tony Hinchcliffe is the press secretary? He's quick. I know he has a writing squad too on roasts and stuff like that. But if you ever hear him on like interviews and stuff, Tony Hinchcliffe has a good working memory and can pull up stuff like in the conversation and bring it back around. I always find that so funny and clever when people do that. Clever. It's better than IQ. Some people don't like clever. Anyways, are you guys done? Are you out of gas?
I mean, that's whatever. I'm chilling. But everybody sounds like they're out of gas, or am I frozen?
No,
I'm not out of gas. I'm still recovering from that fight. I feel like I was in training for that thing.
You just felt bad?
Anticipating.
Oh, a little bit, yeah. And also, it was just the whole aspect of the stream that kept buffering and freezing, and like it added so much anxiety to the whole process because it would literally be like the last 10 seconds of the two girls that were fighting, which was probably the best fight of the entire night, and it like came back and then it was all over, and I don't know, it's like the worst sort of like failed expectation where like you're expecting to get this big payoff and it doesn't happen. It just kept happening over and over and over again on Netflix.
Oh, Layla, your dress is Minnie Mouse. Oh, she can't hear me. Your dress is so Minnie Mouse.
Yeah, it's cutesy. It's so demure.
It
Not really
is.
demure.
I'm so used to watching UFC fights, and It doesn't matter if it's pay-per-view. It doesn't matter if it's an illegal stream. It's so rare. It's not a battle like with a streaming. It's so rare that you're just not like in the middle of totally chilling and in the middle of bullshit conversation, and you'll have people at your house, and then all of a sudden your TV and you're all stressed out trying to get the stream back on. So this was like par for the course, maybe a little bit with watching live
Wild.
streams. That it's like sometimes when casual fans of things, it's like you guys were never here. But now if Conor McGregor fights, I can't watch my stream clean. That's kind of a little bit. It's like Mike
I saw
Tyson.
a funny article today when it was like, that Jake Paul is already setting up his next fight with Clint Eastwood.
I know. What's next? Does it get you any? Will anyone ever give him any kind of cred for that? Or is it just kind of something that 20 years from now, the history books rewrite and they're like, remember, anytime somebody brings up, well, Mike Tyson was the best fighter ever, they're like, he lost to Jake Paul.
Well, this is sort of the whole reason that an exhibition fight exists, right? An exhibition fight exists not because anyone is trying to put up two equal fighters. It's more of like, I wonder what would happen if you put these two people in a ring, and now we know what the answer to that is. But my opinion, it doesn't make Jake Paul a better fighter. It doesn't make Mike Tyson a lesser fighter. It just answers the question, can a 27-year-old at his peak beat up a 58-year-old that is no longer at his peak, but probably would have given a run for his money if he were, right? But that answer seems like that question seems like it's been answered. At least like this is the best example of that. Because if you can beat up Mike Tyson as a 58-year-old, then if Jake Paul can beat him up as a 58-year-old, I would love to see an exhibition at 48 and 38 too. But we'll
Exactly,
never
because
really
my
see that.
thought is if I was Jake Paul, I would be like, okay, this is badass. I just want to fight against Mike Tyson, but I wish it was Mike Tyson, like a younger Mike Tyson, so I would actually know how it, so it would actually feel like a victory.
Or it could be a whole shaming ritual with the whole moaning of it all. And it's his turn to like do something so outrageous and like lose the title of being like, a great fighter and losing to a young guy and showing his ass on TV. It's probably his shaming ritual. Okay, you want to get to the next level, you have to take it.
Could
Take a
it have
stand
anything
down.
to do, like we all can sit here and talk about really logically that a grown old man shouldn't fight a young guy like that, and like even skill sets being dramatically different, like it's just age eventually takes on. You could see like in this first bit of the fight where like Mike was Mike, like but age, it's just your muscles don't recover as fast. Look at how it's not like end of the world feuds, but the same logical conversation can't be had about a man boxing a woman. Don't
Look,
you think it's the fucking same conversation of like
It is.
eventually
That's the next step, I think. Now
I
Jake
gotta,
Paul's gonna start like Andy Kaufman. He's gonna start calling out
Yeah.
women.
Yeah, that's who he has to call out next. Like, okay,
I
I'll fight
gotta
Chris
say this
Cyborg.
though, for his age, Mike Tyson does not have saggy old man ass. I can see striations in his glutes. Like he's freaking in shape, man. Like that's the one thing like I find so unattractive is like saggy old man ass. He ain't got it.
This laptop is
He's been
driving me crazy
training, but
today.
he had a little bit of a George Foreman body.
Yeah, absolutely. George Foreman-ish, like completely.
But it was like Iron Mike. I don't know. The auditorium cheering for him and all booing for Jake Paul, but he likes to be the problem child. Like he wants
Yeah.
that. He wants to, he's like, I hope everyone tunes in just to watch me get beat up.
I remember my kids wanting his merch back when he was just a YouTuber.
There's
that would have been like Bitcoin if you had like OG Jake Paul merch. Now you put it
Hell
on
yeah.
eBay.
I was like, nah, I'm not doing that.
there's Sugar Sean O'Malley and him have like their own version of like Axe body spray. I mean, there might be a bunch of celebrities that are involved in it, and it's not Axe, but it's some kind of weird product, like how Jake or Logan Paul has he pushes Prime, and that's the whole thing. Jake Paul has Celsius as a contract. So that was like a contention for the brothers because he didn't have his brother's water.
So you were talking about how the age difference, like a young man shouldn't fight an older man. Well, this is why I think it's some sort of ritual, because also there was a situation with a police officer tackling a fucking 70-year-old man for no fucking reason, just for like, yelling at him. The old man just yelled at the police officer, and the police officer had a fucking hard on, and all of a sudden just tackles this old guy on the floor where he needed the hospital to come and get him because he got, knocked out unconscious. Like, you don't hit old men.
Exactly
You
why
just
we
don't
don't
do it.
need more immunity for police officers. Because I
That's
saw
very
that
true.
whole thing too. I was like, the
The
fuck?
fuck? Let someone do that to my father. Like, really? I'll put a bullet in your head.
She ain't
Like,
playing.
yo, I don't give a shit. I'll go to jail. Bye.
I shot the sheriff,
Mm-mm.
but I did not shoot the
This is
deputy.
what I'm talking about. Like, this is what pagans fought. Okay, you want to call them all these names? They fought Marxism. Marxism, again, I'm going to say it again and again and again. It's fucking religion. And now there's a new form of Marxism. They fought for their sovereignty. That's what being a pagan is, being one with the land, one with knowledge, one with your people. You're in that connection. And then now you have people tackling other people because laws of a piece of paper instead of laws, natural laws of your word. But here we are. People tackling 70-year-old men, women, old ladies.
Punching him in the head
Are you kidding me?
and
Someone?
filming it.
Yeah, someone to tackle an elder? Are you
But
fucking kidding?
I know maybe it's like we have respect for our elders in a way that's like been lost.
Big time. Big time. It is so shameful to put
Oh, I
fucking
see some of the videos of kids just in school now, and I'm just like, I can't even imagine as a kid feeling comfortable sitting in that classroom. Like it has nothing to do with the teacher or the kid, but they're just feuding every day and fighting and fist fighting.
This is what my dad did. Bop, bop. What? What were
I
you
thought
doing?
he was
What
showed
were
this
you doing?
beaver.
Pulled out the fucking belt and left it on the table. Go ahead, move. Go ahead, misbehave. See what happens.
Oh, my dad
Go.
touched his belt buckle. I was like apologizing. I'm like, no, I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry. It made me a decent human being. Yeah, I got beat,
Same.
but honestly, it's like puts you in line. I'm gonna say the unwanted thing to say. I hate abuse. I wouldn't abuse, but I'm telling you, it kept me on track. It kept me on track.
I don't
That's all I'm
know.
saying.
I don't know. I don't have children, so but I would like to think I wouldn't have to hit them.
I'll tell you this, being a mother of 5 kids, your parenting to each kid is different. Like
Mhm.
what works for one doesn't work for the other. So, like my middle son, he had to have a few spankings. My daughter, never. All I had to do was like tell her I was disappointed, and that was enough. And each one, discipline, because every person is so different. You think they're going to be the same because they're all from the same bloodline, they're raised the same and all of that, but it's
You're
not.
right.
Like you have to be a different parent to every kid because they're not responsive. So just because the spanking works for one kid doesn't mean it's going to be good for another. It's actually going to be like very psychologically damaging. But some kids just need the wake up call. So
Me,
yeah,
for instance, I was the explorer. I went into everybody's closets. I destroyed their closets. I went looking for things, and it was not allowed, but I
that's my
did it.
youngest daughter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I found shit about people. I found out shit about people that I had no idea I knew what I was looking at. Knowing what I know now, I'm like, oh my god, I had so much blackmail on people like back then. Like,
Well, and
but
that's yeah, my daughter is just like that. And but I bet
I,
you're the person in the house that if something was lost, they'd be like, "Layla, where's this?" And you'd be like,
yep,
"Oh, I know exactly where it is. It's in this
yep,
drawer in this corner, blah blah blah." And they'd be like,
and blamed
"Oh,
for everything too. So I got
yeah."
everything. I'm the oldest, but the person in my family was my sister. She barely got it. My brother, this younger one, bare like at all, at all, at all. I got the bulk of it, the oldest. So it's different for every child. That's true. But for me, a beatdown worked. I needed it. I was wild. I was not a controllable child. I didn't like being controlled at all. Till this
Yeah, my
day.
first one was just reverse psychology.
No, things
Just tell him to do
change.
the opposite of what I want, and then he's got,
I always fought
always.
against it. Maybe it's my autism. I don't know.
I was totally against the grain, but it's almost like my parents had to give me things to be able to take them from me to keep me in line with that.
Yep.
It wasn't like I
That's
was
another form of
spoiled at all. I didn't
yeah.
get a whole bunch of things. It was just like the things I got were freedom. They were
Yep.
like I was allowed to stay out a little late or be on the phone or do these things. So anytime they took away my freedom, it was like felt.
I still feel bad about this a little bit, but I remember there was a specific moment in time when I realized that the words like "you're grounded" or like "you're not going out," and I would like go back to my room and just think like, my window still opens, the door still opens. It's not like I've been locked in this room, so like it had no power over me. Like your force field no longer works here. Sure, I'm grounded. I'm sneaking out of the window.
See, we didn't
as
have
soon
I
as
love how
grounded
you think
because
like
I
that.
was
I am
always
gone.
grounded. Do you know that? We didn't have that luxury of being grounded because we were grounded.
You were just
Like
forever
I was on
grounded.
lockdown.
But even
Besides
if
being
you're
a
forever
kid,
grounded, the
yeah.
front door
Yeah,
still opens
that's
at 1
it.
a.m.
I
If you
was
have nothing to lose, eventually that's where the whole act out starts to come from. If you have no freedom, there's nothing to fucking lose. So the
yeah.
beatings can come every day and I eventually you don't fucking care. And so it's like if you actually had a little bit of freedom and with some kind of like trust and whatever, then you might not have been so awful, but it's just like you had nothing to fucking lose anymore. Like
Mhm.
freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose.
Literally.
Freedom's just
Like
another word for
you're in a
nothing
world,
to
you come
lose.
into this world, into America. You can't live like you live in Albania and expect me to be like Albanian with those. I live in America. I'm going to live the way Americans do. Yes, I'll hold on to certain traditions, but keeping a kid locked from experiences of like
Oh
life.
my gosh, to take you though from an old country to here. Think
Oh
of
my
that for
God.
them. Especially it's not like they took you to Oklahoma. They took you to
New
New
York
York City.
City. What did you expect, mom and dad?
I know. They were like, "Oh, let's keep our little farm girl
Yeah,
all
right.
safe."
Yeah, right.
And then they had you in New York City and thought they were gonna keep old Albanian ways on you.
They tried, bro. Even to the point of arranging me, like arranged engagement. That was wild.
There's a word that makes arranged and engaged together a new word.
Arranged engaged. Uh,
Yeah,
arranged
somewhere they are mixed together.
arrangement. Yeah.
I don't know, but it's kind of crazy. I can't even fucking
Enraged.
fathom. But in some
Enraged.
really old cultures, like the medicine man and woman, whoever was the head of the tribe, like the elders that we were talking about that you would respect, they would be the ones that would arrange your marriage.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even about your parents doing it. It was like somebody would just be at the top of the tribe and be like, "You'll be good for us if you
But do
guys
you know
breed and
why?
have children."
They were the observers and they would observe everyone and everyone's behavior and, just hear their life stories and be part of their life throughout their lifetime. So they know who and who would
And
be
make
a
sure you're not
perfect match.
mixing too close of family too.
Yes. Yes.
But also to probably keep certain traditions alive in the village, like your family, great farmers, this family runs land. Like the elders almost played chess with all the people and or maybe even feuds amongst family. They were like, if this guy's daughter and this guy's son have a kid, their feud will stop tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Exactly how it worked. Or marriage. But not even a kid, even just marriage. Like, boom. Them
Yep,
two,
now
just
you're all at
marry
the
them.
family.
Now, like, shut the fuck up. You have nothing to do, nothing to say. Let bygones be bygones.
Brap, brap.
Maybe there's something to it, is what you're saying?
Maybe. I mean,
Do you know how we always also talk about like certain cultures just rolled their boat ashores and they were like, oh, there's an eclipse coming. Let's not tell the natives an eclipse is coming. And then this way we'll just tell them to bring us our gold or we'll give them another eclipse and block the sun out again. Like this kind of isn't anything technology wise. If let's say we had a village or an island or something and we just didn't care about brawn, we just worked at technology on our little island and worked at it and worked at it and worked at it and worked at it. It doesn't mean all the parts of the world will develop at the same time. And that like Atlantean idea. Anything that I showed you, you would just think is magic. What is the difference between the two? Aren't so many magics just, isn't that what science is trying to figure out? Explain the unexplainable about everything.
Yeah.
And so much about it, I'm just like, I don't know. It's just, it's wild to me how many Ouroboroses of things that we're just like kind of on really eating our own tails. Like, I don't know. It's just a wild day.
It is.
It's just a wild day. I'm so excited to be here.
So am I.
Cats and dogs living together.
I know. It's so interesting where this whole thing will lead, but I do feel good about it right now. I feel like whatever in my whole idea of like God and the devil, like one fallen, like one of your employees, and then you have this whole big corporation you've been running for like for eternity, for a Google amount of years, and this one little employee is like so disgruntled and they're like, I'm gonna take you down. I wouldn't even give a shit. Like the big boss doesn't give a shit about that
attention
stuff.
seeker.
And so sometimes I think really in my like most glittery red pilled, whatever word you want to give it, I really believe God wins. Like, I don't believe like where people are like, well, we have to go through revelation and tribulation and we have to go through all this havoc. And why? Can't you guys just like
regardless
God
though,
just
the
win?
end of the story is God wins anyway. So
I know that's how I feel. But
so
I just
stop focusing
feel
on the bullshit.
like, I don't
Good
know.
wins.
I feel like the Holy Spirit is in me and
is
I
in
just
you.
can't even fathom not winning so much. Like even in my little alchemy brain, the pendulum swings in the other direction.
Winning every day, bro.
Until you get sick of it.
You get so sick of winning.
So we start fucking vomiting, bro. Oh, I love it.
We've earned it.
I want to do the
You're like a
haka.
I'm not getting
psyop.
sick of it. We're gonna
What is
we're
that
gonna enjoy the
dance
fuck
that
out
they
of
do
it.
in New Zealand? That
Haktua.
the haka. I just feel like doing that.
It's very powerful.
It really is. That's how I feel, you know. Oof, I just want to let that out. But
Stomping.
I don't want to do it. Yeah, I want to learn it though. It's so
Like
beautiful.
an girl from Atlanta, black sorority girl from Atlanta, how they can do like
Oh yeah.
Stepping.
yes, that's fucking so hot.
It hurts.
You just hit yourself in the chest.
Yeah.
So hard. Oh my gosh, you guys. Thank you so effing much for hanging out. Make sure you jump on to the IlluminatiComic.com train and back that. And make sure you follow everyone. You never know when we'll be running spaces on X. And the ladies will see you Sunday night because, they'll be giving us some extra news. So we love you, love you, love you.
Oh.
We love you long time. What?
I can't wait to call the White House when Daddy's in office.
Oh, it'll be so much more fun.
Yeah.
We need to call the White House and be like, when does Trump get there? Do you have the number to Mar-a-Lago?
We're doing it.
You just
Yeah,
call it up
so-
like you're love struck, like, hey, what are you doing? I don't know. What are you doing? Just
I'm
like
gonna
every
beg
call to the White House
every
now.
Sunday to have Donald Trump on the line. Can you please put Donald Trump on the line? We're live on our podcast and we just want to say a couple of words, and just call every week. And we're going to tell him that we're going to call every week.
Or you know what? We can call this. We can just be like, hey, is Kamala there?
Yeah, we could do that.
Like, she's not busy.
Yeah.
What's she
Can
doing?
I speak
Hey,
to-
is Joe
Vice
Biden there?
President stuff.
Mhm.
Like, we'll have a couple names in line and then we'll be like, when does Trump get there? Do you have the number to Mar-a-Lago?
Yeah.
Like, just we have to have like 10 questions ready to go for the
Can you get
whoever
Summer to
answers.
call and pretend that it's her Jamaican grandmother?
Guys,
Oh,
if you have
yeah.
a question, please write it in the comments after the show is done, and I will ask the questions. I promise. I promise. Tomorrow, I promise I will.
What would you ask the
Scout's honor.
president should be a question for our Wednesday night show?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question.
Mhm.
You guys timestamp that. I'll forget it in a second. I have no attention span right now.
303.
I have smoked myself out of an attention span. So this is the perfect time to end the show. But I love you guys. Thank you guys all for checking us out and hanging out as long as you did. And yeah, look at how our
course.
sound. We're getting so much better at it.
Well, it's not
Yeah,
gonna
Are
no
you-
audio problems this time.
I know. I thought Abbie was putting up Beaver Moon.
No, I was trying to get my balloons to come up, but they're not wanting to do it.
Oh,
right now.
okay.
Only when I do it on accident.
All right. I love you guys. Make sure you turn it down because you know Juliette Lewis likes to get loud.
Save us, Britney Spears! Can we be saved? God, why is Satan controlling the universe?
Here comes Santa. Here comes the world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunnilinguists, good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically, good guys. Conspiracies, sex, cults, Jamaicans, it's okay to change your thinking, good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys. The world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunnilinguists, good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically, good guys. Conspiracy, sex, cults, Jamaicans, it's okay to change your thinking, good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.